I have got a treat for you. Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports is here. Man, Keaton, what is up, brother? And you no sound. We have no sound from you. All right. So Keaton's having technical difficulties, but he is here. We were able to see him. We just cannot hear him yet. Keaton, are you still having sound issues? Are you muted? Not really. All right, so Keaton's having technical difficulties, but he is here. He's going to join me. We have I have a treat because I have the NFL Top 100 list. I'm not subscribed to the NFL Plus yet, but I'm going to get it. Okay, there we go. We can hear you. Keaton, welcome, brother. Man, I'm happy to
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, I'm happy to hear you. I'm happy to see you. It's funny. We're talking Top 100. You got your Ohio State hoodie on. How many of those players would be on the Top 100 list?
Probably a good amount, especially how many of them can go to the NFL in a year. It's crazy how many NFL players that came from Ohio State.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, I don't have that number exactly because only the top half has been revealed so far. And one of the things about doing this list is that I always kind of message out and like, hey, if there's anything else that happens, and there's no news has happened in the NFL. There's no big signings, no big deals. And then right before we get ready to come on, Tua signs this massive 4-year extension. Now, you're a New England fan. I want to get your thoughts.
I heard about it earlier. I'm like, man, I didn't think he was going to get the deal. I was a little surprised by that. But I mean, it's something the Dolphins have been dragging this on for a while, and they finally got it done. So we'll see what type of results it brings, not just for Tua, but for the team as well. We'll see if he can actually, win a playoff game and maybe, do some things. I don't know. We'll see what happens, though.
Let me ask you this, though. Are you because you're a Patriots fan, is this something that scares you? Are you like, oh, man, they got Tua, or were you hoping that he would just be completely out of the AFC East?
I wouldn't necessarily say, like, hasn't really. I mean, they've owned the Patriots for quite some time now, so hopefully that's a different result this year. But I mean, it doesn't really scare me because I already know what the result's going to be at the end of the year. They start off hot every year and then they fall apart in December. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they could have had home field advantage last year, but they collapsed at the end of the season. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I knew this was going to happen. I don't think it's going to work out well for the Dolphins. This is the only year he's been able to stay healthy. He wasn't able to stay healthy at Alabama. He's not being able to stay healthy here. He had one season he stayed healthy, and don't get me wrong, if he stays healthy, it's going to work out. I don't have a lot of confidence in him staying healthy. The offensive line's so. They lost a lot of starters on defense. I have not come out with my 2024 prediction videos yet, but spoiler alert, I don't have the Dolphins making the playoffs in 2024.
Wow.
No, I don't see it. Spoiler alert. I'm coming out with that video soon. I've been behind on making these videos, so I apologize to everyone. One Pride 40 says identical to the golf contract. It's almost exactly identical to the golf contract. The one thing that I don't have is how the funds have been allocated. Like with the golf contract, the first 2 years are really team friendly, 2024, 2025. It's over a $69 million cap hit in 2026. So with that cap hit, that's just going to be brutal in a couple of years for the Lions, but I don't have that information for the Dolphins because you got Jalen Waddle got big money. Tyreek Hill's got some big money. what kind of a cap situation are they going to be in a couple of years? You're right, though. The numbers are very identical. Hey, Jerry Jacobs signed in LA with the Rams. I guess Witherspoon's situation isn't going so well. Jerry Jacobs and the Witherspoon situation, it was kind of funny because I was going over the top 100 list, and when you said Witherspoon, I was thinking Devin Witherspoon, who is not on the list yet, but we still got another 50 players to go. So, Perry, I agree with you. Perry says the Finns will regret this deal just like Giants do with Jones. Slasher, what's up, brother? I have not seen I haven't seen 41 or 50 through 41 yet. So Lane Johnson's 41. You know what? I'm gonna star this comment here because I want to go through the list here because I do want to touch base on that. I didn't know 50 through 41 was out yet. So
yeah, I didn't know either. Huh. Dak is going.
Let me ask you about this here with Tua getting big money, Goff getting big money. Is Dak going to get a big contract as well, Keaton? Throwing that out there right away.
I know this is that. The Cowboys are in a very predictable situation, or not predictable, very unpredictable situation because, yeah, they're talking about Dak get his deal or get his money. Micah Parsons talking about he wants his money as well. So and then you got the CeeDee Lamb wanting to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. So you're not going to be able to give money to everyone. So who do you give the money to? Who do you let go? That's interesting. A very interesting conversation right there. So Dallas got some hard decisions to make for sure.
It's funny because I was saying the Lions, they can't sign Sewell and Amon-Ra, and then they sign them both. And then I turn around and say you can't sign Goff, and then they went ahead and did that. I don't know if the Cowboys can do the same thing because I think that Lamb's going to want more than Amon-Ra. Dak's going to want more than Goff. Right. How much money is Micah Parsons going to ask for?
So that's the thing is I look at I think Micah with how Dak has been performing in the playoffs, I don't know. I think Micah Parsons deserves that. I think he deserves his money. That's just me. I let Dak either trade or let him walk for something. I don't know, but he hasn't got it done when it mattered most. So.
No, I agree completely. And if he's going to get $60 million a year, which is what he wants, win some games, especially in Dallas. One Pride says, Slasher, we got Laporta, Hutch, and Goff on the list. So Hutchinson and Goff have not shown up yet. Laporta has. You're going to have several players on the list here for the Lions. It's going to be a fun list for the Lions here. And I got, by the way, in the links below, I have the links so you can go to the NFL Network and you can follow along, but I'm going to show you the list. Not going to lie, the list is kind of a joke. I have some disagreements, and then I also have I got a little behind this week doing the live stream. So I have a list of a handful of players that should be on the list, in my opinion, that are not. There's about 2 or 3 players that could be in the top 50, but I'm not really sure. But we'll get into that here. We'll get into that. Man, God, some great comments here. I'm already behind on comments here. Frank Amon-Ra. By the way, Frank Ragnow may not make the list. One Pride may not make the list. The media is saying the Cowboys should let Dak walk. It's going to be a fun situation, man. It's going to be a fun situation. Oh, look at this. Look at this. We got Denver Gator.
What's going on?
Man. Oh, look at this. Look who else joined the chat. We have the B in the Back Talk Brothers. The great one. The talent. Gooch.
What up, Boo? What up?
Man, got some great people in the chat, man. This is going to be great, man. The fact that Goff's contract in 2026, You have no idea what the cap's going to be, but it's $69.6 million hit in 2026. It's going to be massive. So yeah, it's 2026. You might have to get a little creative there. Branch and Gibbs got snubbed. You know what? One pride. I was thinking Branch may make it into the top 50. Gibbs is debatable. Let me ask you this here, Keaton. I'm just rambling. I'm talking. I got an energy drink here. I don't know why I don't need it. Branch and Gibbs, should they be on the top 100 list?
I mean, I think they should be. I mean, given their overall skill talent, I think they should at least get consideration being in the top 100. I don't know exact order, but I mean, they definitely should be. Like, Lions fans probably would agree with that too. They probably should be somewhere in the back end of that list for sure.
By the way, we have some comments in the chat here. Roll Tide. So, did you know that? By the way, Gooch.
I didn't know you were an Alabama.
Gooch is a big Alabama fan. Keaton said before the show that Ohio State would go undefeated in the SEC. Just throwing that out there. He also said they would beat Alabama by 70, which I was like, oh.
Oh man, that'll be
Alabama. By the way, this fall I'm going to be going live during the afternoon, 1 to 4 Vegas time, 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time, and on Wednesdays we are going to talk college football quite a bit. I might be able to get Keaton to come on and talk some college football here. You see, by the way, the hoodie's awesome. Ohio State representing. What a great team. If Frank doesn't make the list, or better not be another center, that's fair. That's fair. With Kelsey retiring, he's not going to be on the list. Brady, when he retired, he technically was on the list, but they took him off too. So I think Gibbs and David M will have a great season. I think they will too, man. I think they will too. I humbly think Landon Dickerson should have made the top 100, but he's just not pop. You know what? Slasher, I have a list of players that I think should have made the list that didn't, and I forgot to add Landon Dickerson. You're right. He's one of the top 100 players. You're right. Creed is better than Frank. Sorry, Funk One Pride. God, we got some love here, man. We got some love here and some arguments already about centers. I love it. Did a center make the list? It doesn't seem that way unless the center made the top 50, which I really don't think so. At Keaton, why is Matt Judon on the trading block, or is it just fan BS? By the way, Keaton, me and you talked about this. Matthew Judon would look much better in Chiefs red than Patriots red. We both agree on that.
And he always wears those red sleeves. I mean, like, it kind of goes both ways,
This is a great question.
That's a good question. I mean, that's tough because it's like we've been in the Brandon Ayuk trade rumors for a minute now. It's like people or Patriots fans talking about, well, should we get Brandon Ayuk and maybe trade Judon? I mean, even if we do trade Judon, I mean, we're going to get a lot back just given his overall value and what he brings to the field. But I mean, like, I don't know. He's a huge part to that defense, man. I just don't.
When he went down, the defense was still decent, but it lost something. I mean, he looked like he was going to be Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's such a good player.
Yeah.
He's what, 30, 31 though, coming off of an injury.
Yeah, 31. That's the thing. Is like people are talking about that and like given his age. I mean, like I understand the conversation, but like I'm just saying, I just can't see him really anywhere else other than New England. But like I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. Hopefully, he's still here come season.
I want to let you know, Perry, if it wasn't for the injury history, I I think there's a possibility, but because he's coming off of an injury, and that's why I don't think he's going to be on the trading block. But I will say this: if he's healthy, I think he's going to have a big year, even though he's on the bad end of 30. You know,
right?
Slasher, are you just upset that everyone says the Lions have the best O-line now that Jason retired? We got some trash talk in the chat, and One Pride gets a.
That's the great. I mean, that's why I'm excited for football season. It's like we get to get into like, agreements, disagreements, and all that. It's been a minute. I'm excited to get into that stuff. That's for sure.
We're a pause on the political. That's kind of funny. One Pride. We're kind of funny. One Pride. Lamb, Dak, Parsons too much invested in three positions, setting himself up to fail, not being able to pay free agents or getting good players on the rosters. Yeah, I mean, you're 100. Got Denver Gators on fire today. No, you're right. If you sign all three, you got to lose something. So I don't know what's going to happen.
I just don't see it. Like, I think they're going to have to get rid of at least two of those guys.
Two? Yeah, I think you keep CD Lamb.
Yeah,
I think he stays.
I keep CeeDee Lamb and keep Micah Parsons. I
think with Dak and Parsons, I think there's where the conversations start. And if Dak has a big year, I think Jerry Jones will want to keep him. But if he has a so-so year, there's going to be some quarterbacks that come out in the draft that Dallas could look at. I mean, and by the way, the Shadir Sanders, there's been conversations about that already. Deion's already said, "Hey, I'd love him to be the quarterback in Dallas." So, and Funk, I'm thinking Parsons could be the odd man out.
Hey, where would he go though? That's the question. It's like if he were to leave, like. I don't know. That's
because I even hate to say this, and we haven't talked about this. Okay, 18 minutes into the show, and I'm having a brain freeze here. Number 55 drafted Josh Uche.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on a 1-year deal. I think he's going to have a big year. If he's gone, and Micah Parsons replaces him, Judon like that's kind of my thought process, because I think Josh Uche is going to have a big year, and I think he'll leave via free agency, and then you'll have because New England will have some money, and a guy like Parsons in New England that could be a lot of fun.
Crazy.
That would be fun. Nobody wants to see that though. Nobody wants to see that. But
you never know. Hey, I seen crazy things happen.
I mean, I think you're right, Funk, man. Parsons has been public. Jerry Jones doesn't really like that for the most part. So, I love that. We have there's some trash talk in the comments here, but let's dive into the list here. And for those of you who haven't seen it, this is your first time, 100 through 51. I'm breaking it down in 10-player increments, and we'll go over the list here in some detail. I don't have the NFL Plus. I haven't watched the videos. I've just been looking at the list. This is my list. Here's the copy of the list here. If you're wondering what the colors are, the colors in green are players that are ranked obviously too low, in my opinion. The players in red are players that are ranked way too high, in my opinion. These are glaring oversights, but these are my opinions, and my opinions only. Number 100 is Zaire Franklin. He's linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts. I know the Colts didn't make the playoffs. The defense wasn't that good. I get it. Zaire Franklin outplayed Levante David last year. I don't even think that's a question, to be honest with you, even though I love Levante David. Now, Levante David's older, been in the NFL, won the Super Bowl in that god-awful, terrible Super Bowl everybody hates, where, Brady beat Mahomes. Nobody likes that. Even Bucs fans hated it. But Franklin, way too low. Cameron Hayward, Aaron Rodgers, Tariq. By the way, I'm gonna rant real quick here, and then I'm gonna let Keaton come in. If you get benched during the season, you shouldn't be on the top 100 list. If you get benched, you shouldn't be on the list.
Who got benched?
Terry Woolen. There was he got benched during the season. And by the way, Devin Witherspoon is not he hasn't made the list yet, but there's a chance he could be in the top 50. So
okay. I was gonna say.
So like I don't know.
That's wild.
I love the trash talk in here. And by the way, it's cool to trash talk. It's not cool to start attacking each other here. We're not a bunch of libtards where if you disagree with us, we just call you names and stuff like that. Keaton, I have some opinions. Okay, I'm stifling a sneeze. Okay, didn't sneeze after all.
It happens.
I have just my opinions. I think Cameron Hayward's way too high. Aaron Rodgers didn't even play last year. Tariq Woolen got benched. Zaire Franklin is either first or second in the league in tackles. Not a big name, but these are just some of my first. When you look at 100 through 91, what stands out to you?
I mean, like I would say Aaron Rodgers and Cameron Hayward. To be honest, like you said, I think Cameron Hayward was a little too high. I mean, he is obviously getting up there in age as well, so like you have to look at that factor as well. And then like Aaron Rodgers, like I said, he's coming off of an injury, so like what's he going to be like going in 2024? That's the real question. I mean, there's a lot of Jets fans out there that think he's going to come back and just magically just carry them to 12, 13 wins. Like I just don't see it, in my opinion. I don't think Rodgers is that same. He's a good quarterback. He can still move around the pocket, but like I don't think he's like. I think they're asking a little bit too much of him. And then looking at his career, he won one Super Bowl. I think it was back in 2010, I think, or 2011 when they beat the Steelers.
Yeah, I think it was 2010. And he had that one season the next year.
Yeah, that's. But like he's been to multiple NFC title game. He's came close to making the Super Bowl, but I think people are looking. I mean, my opinion, I think Rodgers should be. I don't know. That's tough. I feel like he should be a little higher than 92.
Higher?
I think he should be higher. I mean, like I said, he has a strong arm, but like I think people are just looking at his career. Like he only has one Super Bowl. That's why they have him back at 92.
Yeah, I mean, so this is if you're not aware of how the list works, what they do is they give every NFL player a list a piece of paper and say, list your top 20 players. And there's no rules to it, but it's the top 20 for 2024. Some guys have it as an all-time thing. That's why Cameron Hayward, that's why Aaron Rodgers is on the list. But when I look at it, and that's top players of 2024, are you, I mean, it's a big question mark with Aaron Rodgers. With Cameron Hayward, are you really going to tell me if you're going into 2024, you can't give me 100 players better than Cameron Hayward all time? No. 24, yeah, there's 100 players better than Cameron Hayward. All-time great player. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. All-time great player. If you want to argue with me, Cameron Hayward's a Hall of Famer, okay, great, fine. Let's argue. I don't think he is. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, but top 100 players of 2024, you can name 100 players that are better than Cameron Hayward. I'm going to tell you something. Every player I have that's not on the list, and I'm going to do that at the end because I put together something really fast. So there's some names. Landon Dickerson should be on that list. I don't have that as one of my missing players. There's a few names that kind of raise some eyebrows. Trevor Lawrence at 94, more of a potential over production. I got also that Harrison Smith, one of my all-time favorite players, but kind of declined in play over the years. And but I'm okay at 93. I'm not too mad at that. But
where would you put Trevor Lawrence at?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I kind of like 94, even though he was my MVP prediction last year. And I think he will win an NFL MVP sometime in the future. I think that right now it's still more potential than production. I'm okay at 94, but I think when we do this list next year, Trevor Lawrence is going to be much higher. I think he's going to have a good year.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think he'll come back this year for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I think so too. And by the way, Slasher, I have a list of players that are not on the list that should be on the list, and I left off Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson's 1 to 100. There's no debate. Landon Dickerson going into 2024 is a better player than Cameron Hayward. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
You're a Patriots fan. You're our AFC East expert here. Perry says, I think A-Rod is going to bring too much drama to the Jets. What's your opinion there?
I mean, he's not lying there. I mean, I just think, like I said, the Jets do look. I'm not saying the Jets had a great offseason. I'll admit that they had a great draft. I love the Aloof Fashanu pickup at pick 10, which obviously they needed an offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. Tyron Smith, okay, they got, but like, how much is he willing to hold up? You know, he's been injured. I don't think he's played a full season since what? I think it's like 16 or something like that.
It's something like 2015, 2016, something like that.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, the Jets had a great offseason. Like I said, I think their fans are getting a little bit too overhyped with this team. I just don't think they're going to live up to the expectation. I think not even just that, like the drama off the field. Like, you know, if you're not performing in the New York market, then, you know, the fans are going to let you know and all that. I just think there's too much ego in that locker room, in my opinion. Too much players thinking they're the guy. And how much is Aaron Rodgers? Is that how much is he committed to trying to get his team to the playoffs? Like, I don't know if his head's really in it or not. We don't know, but yeah, that's just what I think. I just think the Jets are, we'll see what happens. I'm not, that's just me speculating, but I just think they're a little too overhyped for a team that hasn't made the playoffs since 2011.
I mean, hey, you bring in some really great points. This is the whole reason I want to bring Keaton Talk Sports here on here as much as possible, because he's saying, listen, my Ohio State Buckeyes can beat the Jets. That's what he's saying. Hey, Jets fans, you haven't been to the playoffs in 13 years. Shut up about Super Bowl. It doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. We're all here to talk football, but I've been following more and more politics as the election's coming up here. Breece Hall will carry that team.
Breece Hall, right.
Yeah. I have a huge man crush on Breece Hall. I always have ever since I watched him at Iowa State. I'm a spoiler alert. He's somebody who's not on the list, and I think he should be on the list. I would put him somewhere between 100 and 90 on Breece Hall. I think he had a good enough season last year, considering he was playing against, defenses that were said, okay, look, you can't even throw the ball, so we'll stop Breece Hall. I would have put Breece Hall on the top 100 list, probably somewhere between 100 and 95, to be honest with you.
Right.
A-Rod just needs to be a solid quarterback to make the playoffs. We have to find out. I mean, he's coming off an injury. He's 39. I mean, a lot of people are looking at Brady and thinking, oh, NFL quarterbacks can play till 40. No, that's the exception, not the rule. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions.
This is just me, though. Like, if I have to be honest, like, I think in order for the Jets to make the playoff, I think they have to win the division. Because you have to look at the division. Like, the AFC North, I think there are going to be at least 3 teams in there that make it, potentially. So, like, I don't know. Like, even if they win, 10 games, is that going to be enough to get you in? Like,
that may not. That may not. 10-7. I think there'll be a team that's 10-7 sitting out. I really do. I mean, I think in both the AFC and the NFC, I think if you want to get to the playoffs, you have to win 11. I think there's going to be a 10-win team that sits out. I'm switching divisions here, or conferences, but the NFC South, the last couple of years, it's been a 9-win team.
Yeah,
that's one. I could see Tampa. I have Tampa as my team. I think Tampa could be 9-8. Maybe they'll go 8-9 again and make the playoffs. So it's a little different. But there could, I think, in the AFC and the NFC, I think there's going to be a 10-win team that's going to be sitting at home.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so yeah, you may have to win the division to get in. You might have to win the division. So Perry says T-Law is overrated until he can carry the Jags and live up to the hype. And that's fair. I think 94 is more potential than production, and but I still think 94 is fair. That's why I left. I would have been upset if he was like 70 or 80, but. And by the way, in the major media market, I think Trevor Lawrence would be 70 or 80 because Jacksonville is kind of a smaller market. But I'm okay with 94. And I'm also okay with you thinking he's overrated. I had him as my MVP pick, so obviously I'm a little higher on him than most people. Keaton, Trevor Lawrence, is he just overrated? I mean, number one pick in the draft. He had that come from behind victory in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Remember they were down 24 points, 27 at half. I mean,
like there's a stat that I found that I think him and Daniel Jones have like similar stats or whatever. I can't remember if it was like last year or just if it's just throughout their career. But yeah, I mean, like last year, the Jags. I mean, I was a little disappointed with them last year. I thought they would be, a playoff team. I had them as a playoff team last year. I mean, they started off hot and then they just fell apart at the end of the year. So it's going to be curious to see, like, with the improvements, Brian Thomas Jr., see what he brings to the table to that offense. I mean, I think they're a little bit better offensively than they were last year, for sure. So we'll see how they bounce back this year. Maybe they could, challenge the Texans in that division for sure if things really go well.
I think that division could be a lot of fun. I really do. I mean, by the way, what's fun about that division is you have Anthony Richardson, who's got all this crazy potential, but nobody knows can he stay healthy? Can he play? I mean, there's so many question marks with the Colts. By the way, for those of you that don't remember, the Colts played the Texans the final week of the season. The Colts were driving with less than 2 minutes left, no timeouts. On 4th and 1, they went for it. And I got the name wrong, Tavion Banks, but that's not wrong. He's Tyler Goodson. I'm sorry, player I loved out of Iowa, by the way. Just drops the ball, perfect ball, hit him right in the hands. He just dropped it. I feel bad for the kid.
Yeah,
there's a chance the Colts win that game and win the division, and they're playing the Browns in the wild card. I mean, that division's wild. I've been adamant. I'm going to keep saying it. The Titans just to me look like a disaster. I think that they're going to be a terrible team.
Really? That's because I remember I said something about them being like there's a lot of like Titans fans thinking, okay, yeah, they're going to be like, look, coming off of last year, they think they're going to be improved. Like, and there's other people like
I don't see
think
it.
They're going to be like a top 3 pick. I don't know. Like.
I really don't see it because it look like number one, I'm really high on Vrabel, but everything about the Titans just looks like it's mismatched. They have this big, powerful, physical offensive line, and that's great because you have Derrick Henry back there as the battering ram, but you remove Derrick Henry and you replace him with Tony Pollard. By the way, you gave Tony Pollard more money than Baltimore's giving Derrick Henry. But you have this big physical offensive line. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And I mean, it just doesn't. I mean, you draft a quarterback you trade up to draft a quarterback whose strength's throwing downfield. Then you eliminate that and go to a pass happy offense, which is a rhythm, quick throwing type of offense, which Cincinnati runs. Right. That's not what he does well. I look at everything Tennessee's doing and it feels like square pegs and round holes. But the Colts could be the best team in that division. I think Jacksonville could surprise. Houston looks really hot.
Yeah.
Perry says if the Jets start slow, Salah's gone by season's end. I think if they don't make the playoffs, I think he's gone regardless of how they start.
There's going to be a riot. I think there's going to be a riot in New York if they miss the play. With that team they got, I mean, if you on paper they should win that division, but like, will they? That's yet to be seen. But
I mean, we're gonna find out. I got Raven 76B more. Salute. Happy Friday. We are what was it? 6 weeks away from Chiefs Ravens. Do I have my math right? Is it less than 6 weeks? I should start doing a daily countdown. I am so jacked up because we have the Hall of Fame game in about a week, and then Chiefs Ravens in 6 weeks. It's going to be a good one. Raven 76B more. I'm glad to see you in the chat. Speaking of Jets, they made a blunder trade for Hassan Reddick. You know, it's a damn shame because I really like Reddick in that defense, but he wanted a new contract. And I thought, well, is that a ploy because, you know, he just wanted out of Philly? And no, he's holding out. So he wants $30 million a year, but he went from 17.5 sacks to 11 sacks. So
already drama already.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. That means start playing. At Keaton, what are your good and things you're worried about so far in the Pats training camp? Oh, I'm dying to hear this.
Yeah, so far, I mean, Drake May looks. I mean, I've seen him throw the way he's throwing the ball, flinging that ball down the field. He looks really good. I mean, I know Gerard Mayo has already stated that Jacoby Brissett is going to be the quarterback one to start the year, but like he said, that if May balls out, I mean, he could be the starting quarterback, but in my opinion, though, I still think that it's still the right decision to keep Brissett as the QB1 just to start the year. And then I ultimately do believe that May will see the field maybe towards the end of the year. So that way, you know, let him learn the playbook a little bit, let him learn behind Brissett, teach him, you know, the NFL, how things are run there. So, yeah, that's why I believe. And I think the receivers look good, too. Like I said, I don't think we still have a bona fide number one receiver, but I like what the rookies have done. I like what, you know, Polk, the way he's looking, Baker, the way he's looking as well. So, yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be an exciting year. I mean, it's still a building year. I don't expect us to make the playoffs or anything, but I do expect us to be better than we were last year. Hopefully, if the offense.
If Polk can be a number one wide receiver, that could be a really scary good team. I mean, yeah. I've been telling people, you know, I'm not pandering to Keaton just because he's coming on my show. I've been saying this is a team that's better than what people think they are. You have a really good defense. You have a talented running back. The quarterback situation is going to be better, period. I mean, it's going to be better, period.
Yeah.
And then I'm telling you right now, Josh Uche, he signed a 1-year deal. He knows that. Look at what these pass rushers are getting in the open market. Hassan Reddick wants $30 million a year. If Josh Uche 2 years ago, he had 15.5 sacks. Josh Uche gets 12 sacks this year. He might be able to get $30 million a year in the open market. He might. That's why he signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a big year too. I think. Yeah, I'm excited for his defense for sure.
Perry, I wanted to bring it on. The best thing that's happened to the Kansas City Chiefs was I watched this probably at least 6 or 7 times already. I'll send it to Keaton because I don't, Perry, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or not. A rookie Raiders corner has a Kermit the Frog.
Oh my gosh.
And he calls Patrick Mahomes a bitch.
Oh my gosh, bro.
It's already been sent to Mahomes by like 15 different people. Patrick Mahomes addressed it at training camp, and listen, I don't, Perry, we're about the same age. Keaton Talks Sports does basketball, so let me give you some good advice. You don't talk trash to Michael Jordan. You don't talk trash to Brady, and you don't call Patrick Mahomes a bitch.
Oh my gosh.
You don't do it. You're a rookie corner, and you're calling Patrick Mahomes. It's on viral. Perry, if you're on my social media links are below. If you're on Instagram at all, I will send it to you. I've watched it like 8 or 9 times.
I've seen it.
If Keaton's seen it. That is the best possible thing that has happened in training camp and has nothing to do with the Chiefs.
Oh my God.
Nothing. But
Like,
that guy just fucked up. I'm gonna give
that's
you
what I'm saying. Like,
betting advice.
oh my gosh.
And you
Like,
know what? As a special treat, I meant to do this and I didn't have enough time to do this, but I'm going to give you some betting advice here. I'm going to give you some really good betting advice. And whatever the point spread is, I'm putting money on the Chiefs against the Raiders. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that. And let me go ahead and double check this real fast because Keaton Talk Sports is here. I'm going to give some extra betting advice here that I normally don't do, but I've been saving this, but I'm going to reveal it. Week 1 betting advice. All right. The Cincinnati Bengals the last 2 years have gone 0-2. The last 2 years. For whatever reason, they start off slow. Burrow's coming off of an injury. Jamar Chase has his contract thing. T. Higgins held out. Tyler Boyd's gone. They have a new offensive coordinator. They have a bunch of new players. New coaches on the offensive side of the ball, which is a quick rhythm timing type of offense, which requires a lot of practice. Keaton, I'm pretty sure you don't know this, but who do the Bengals play week 1?
They play the Patriots in Cincinnati.
The Patriots are a 9.5 point dog. My number one bet week 1, barring injuries and everything, is Jacoby Brissett, who played with the Browns last year. They'll be able to cover 9.5. So bet on the Patriots to cover 9.5 week 1. I might even put a little extra money on the Patriots to win that game outright. By the way, if you like sports betting, I partnered up with BetUS. You can get 125% up to your first 3 deposits. The link is below. I'm going to use it. I'm going to put some money on Patrick Mahomes kicking the shit out of the Raiders. I'm going to bet on the New England Patriots to cover 9.5 week 1. I'm probably going to put some money on, right now it's at 2.5, but I want to wait till preseason's over with. But pay attention to the New England Patriots 9.5 against the Bengals. But to answer your question, Perry, on a serious note, Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy have looked phenomenal. Bad. This happened last year as well. I don't like it, but it didn't matter in the regular season. Travis Kelce's a little he got in a fight again. Well, Hollywood Brown got hit in what's supposed to be a non-contract deal. So Travis Kelce came over and hit George Karlaftis. George Karlaftis just kind of Kelce's getting a little full of himself, and it happened last year. So, but yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Hey, going back to that Chiefs, that Raider, or what's his name?
It's a Raiders rookie corner. I don't even know his fucking name.
I still don't get, like, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl the last 2 years. Now you're poking the bear, and now they might three-peat now because of that. Like, now that's what I think about. My Chiefs might three-peat because of that. That's just, I'm like, why? By
the way, if you don't follow me on social media, by the way, Keaton's posting some fantastic stuff on Instagram. I haven't even watched all of them yet, man. So this was kind of a surprise that Keaton came on. So I don't have his links in the description below, but Keaton Talk Sports, you got to follow him on. Are you not subscribed to Keaton Talk Sports on YouTube? If you're not subscribed to Keaton, subscribe now. Go to his Instagram. He's posting a lot of great stuff out there. But yeah, Perry, if you don't follow me or Keaton on Instagram, I don't think you do social media. But if you ever sign up, I'll send you it. But yeah. Raven76 More says not a Dana Titans. A lot of people feel that way. Raven76 More. It's just
I agree. I mean
I'm not one of them. I see a team that is you have a first year head coach, you're replacing Vrabel.
Still surprised he didn't have a job yet. I'm still surprised by that.
He's hanging out in Cleveland. That's what he's just a consultant. He'll be a head coach next year. So I think Vrabel's an excellent coach. It's just everything just seems completely mismatched. But Raven 76B more, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that think that, like, a lot of people are looking at the Titans. A lot of people circle them as like a surprise wild card team. They're my pick to have the number 1 pick in the draft. So,
man, really?
Yeah, so you had your tiers. You had Denver as a 1 to 3 team, 1 to 3 win team. Carolina, and I forget the other one.
I believe it was the Giants.
Yeah, it was the Giants.
I know for a fact they're not going to be good. They're not going to be good this year.
But I think Denver will be better than I think Denver might hover around 500. But I think Tennessee would be my pick to be a 1 to 3 win team. I think it's going to be a disaster in Tennessee. I think it's just going to be horrible.
We'll see.
I think Tennessee's my favorite to have number 1 pick in the draft, and we'll find out. But by the way, do not say anything bad to Denver Gator about Will Levis. Denver Gator now puts mayonnaise in his coffee because Will Levis does it. So. By the way, that's just disgusting, Will. Stop doing that. I like drinking coffee, so stop doing that. Perry says, I think A-Rod's going to have a Peyton Manning-type season with the Jets when Manning was with Denver. They got weapons there, man. They got weapons. I really like that they improved the offensive line, but a lot of weapons, a lot of questions. It's football season right around the corner. So many questions, a lot of great things here. Yeah, nobody wants to pay Reddick, I think, because soon he'll be 30 plus and getting paid top dollar. He also has some slight issues containing the run because he's undersized. Yeah, I mean, he's a smaller dude. He was a fantastic pass rusher. I thought he was a great fit with the Jets scheme, but he's not a dude you want to pay $30 million a year. And you traded. Was it a trade or was it a free agent? I'm drawing a blank here, but
was it a? I think it was a trade. It was a trade.
It was a trade. Yeah, that's a trade. Philly wins. You got no. By the way, I'm when I get out my NFC East video, I'm going to say this. I've been saying this again. Nolan Smith. He was the 30th pick overall last year. Barely played. He's going to take over Son Reddick. There's going to be no dude's going to. I seriously think Nolan Smith's going to have like over 12 sacks. Like he's going to be a stud.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Perry, we're good here. The Ravens fans have really concerned about Lamar. Yeah, I. By the way, if you have some information I don't, from what I'm hearing, it's just like a flu bug or something. From what I've seen and heard, it's not a big of a deal. But yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. Have you heard about this, Keaton? Basically they sent him home from training camp.
I did not hear about this. I heard, the only thing I heard about him was how much weight he's lost, like going into it. Like, I don't know if you hear about that. I know we talked about this before. That was I didn't hear about that. Hopefully,
well, they sent him home. I don't think this is a big deal. Apparently, he wasn't feeling well, and they sent him home. I thought it was a non-issue. If you never had one, summer colds are the absolute worst. If you get one, you can't get rid of it. It's magnified because of the heat. It's just awful. I had one for like a month, and like I couldn't shake the fucking thing. It was just awful. Summer colds it could be something like that. Maybe had some bad seafood or something. I don't know, but I don't like the fact that he lost weight and he's down to 210, 215. I don't like quarterbacks to be that.
Same with Tua. Like,
yeah. Same issue with oh God, I'm 49 minutes in a show, brain freeze. Bryce Young, same with Bryce Young. Yeah. Yeah. You're 5'10", 5'11", I can care less. You're 185, 195 pounds, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
On big hits, a wrap. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Here, Perry has a great question here. Do you guys think Allen may take a step back this season for the Bills? Keaton.
These are some good questions.
Oh, yeah. We got some good ones here. We got some guys that are on fire today, man.
Do I think Josh Allen will take a step back? I mean, like I said, that a lot of people assume that they're going to take a step back, not just with his play, but just the team, like, without Stephon Diggs. But I mean, like, at the same time, though, you can't really count him out, though. It's Josh Allen. Like, he's going to make his play. He's going, he's really great using his legs and stuff like that. I love the Keon Coleman pick. I think he's going to bring something to the table to that team. Yeah, I mean, they got younger. I mean, I think Josh Allen's going to be highly motivated to go out there and, prove that, that he's still a top 5 quarterback. Now, I mean, that's yet to be seen. We'll see what happens come the season. But the Bills are kind of a wild card to me. They could either be, take a step back like people assume that they will, or, Josh Allen, the Bills can rise to the occasion and win the division. But, we'll see what happens. I don't know.
I mean, it's going to be fun. I mean, you lose because the first 2 years of his career, he was a below average quarterback. They trade for Diggs and he becomes elite. Now you take Diggs away and what happens, but it's going to be, we're going to find out they lost a lot of starters on the defensive side of the ball, but they also had a lot of injuries last year as well. This is going to sound a little crazy, but if the Bills doesn't have a top 10 defense, like can Allen produce the type of stats to, win 40-30, win a 34-31 shootout every week? He's never been that type of dude before. So, Barry says, I like Polk. He could be a great number 2, might get into a number 1. I'm not familiar with this. The quote Polk said about weapons of mass destruction was so stupid. I'm not familiar with this. Keaton, is this what happened? Is this what Polk said about massive weapons?
Oh yeah,
I've never heard of it. I missed this, Slasher. If you could send it to me, please do.
Yeah, I heard about that. Actually, I heard about that earlier. I've heard him say that quote Polk said about weapons of mass destruction moves. Yeah, I heard about
that to me because I've not seen that.
I haven't read a lot about it, but I did hear. I saw something about him saying that. And I was trying to get more information about that.
All right, yeah. Somebody said I'm not familiar with it, but I mean, I know Belichick's not there anymore, but it's still if you're a rookie, don't be talking trash. At least he didn't have a Kermit the Frog doll. So I mean, anything about calling Patrick Mahomes a bitch with a Kermit the Frog doll is better. So the weapons of mass destruction, I haven't seen it. So, but I'm excited. I'm low key excited about the Patriots because I love what they have defensively. And offensively, there's no question they're going to be better. So,
I really hope we can take a step. I really hope we can finish ahead of one of these teams. That'll be something. If somehow Bills do take a step out, or the Jets just choke for some reason, I don't know, or the Dolphins.
I mean, there's so many things, and I apologize to everybody. I've been trying to get my videos out. I've just been kind of, I just haven't been able to get them out yet. That's all. But over August, I'll have the 8 divisional videos coming out. If the Chiefs win a 3rd straight Super Bowl, I'm blaming. That's very good. So I have a Dan Talks Football Facebook page. They actually took my profile down, but they said it was a copyright infringement for whatever reason. I've been fighting with them. I created a new Facebook, but I haven't really been using it because I've had so many problems with it. I'll try to use that page a little more often, Perry. If you have me on Instagram, Keaton Talk Sports has been doing a lot of stuff on Instagram too lately. Really, really awesome stuff. Keaton's like one of my favorite Instagram followers or Instagram people lately, man. He's been doing some really great stuff. Makes me want to do more on Instagram. I just posted pictures of me running in Vegas. So
I didn't. That's all. Hey, that's a great thing to do.
So my wild Saturday night in Vegas, I did 16. I did 2 miles in 16:30. That's not bad. It's not bad.
Oh yeah, on a treadmill.
It was a bitch. It was a bitch. I did it after work, man. It was a bitch. Mahomes carried the offense on his back last year. The Kansas City defense was good last season. Will the defense still be good this year? Can City find a wide receiver catch the ball consistently? Absolutely. That was the reason why they drafted Xavier Worthy. That's the reason why they brought in Hollywood Brown. I was not a fan of the Xavier Worthy pick, but early on, he's had some big time completions in practice. Hollywood Brown, I've been telling people, like, if you do fantasy football, you may want to get Hollywood Brown a little earlier, like somewhere between rounds 5 and 7, because I think he's going to be 1,000-yard receiver. I really do. I think he's going to be 1,000-yard receiver. Watch out for Hollywood Brown. So, but Xavier Worthy, it wouldn't surprise me if he has about like 600 yards this year. I don't expect much out of him, to tell you the truth.
I mean, to answer your question, like, I think Mahomes will have another big. I think the Chiefs have the best O-line. I mean, don't you think they have the best O-line in football with Tooney there?
I love their interior three, and their right tackle, Jawan Taylor, who had all those penalties. There's a question mark at left tackle. That's a battle, and that scares me. But the interior offensive three are as good as anybody. They really are. And Creed Humphrey, they were talking about it little in the chat. So one of the best centers in football. Trey Smith's a phenomenal guard who I thought was going to hold out. Here's a dude who's a 6th-round pick, became a starter, has gone to a couple Pro Bowls, not holding out. He's making, I think his contract, I think this year he's going to make like $140,000, and he's a Pro Bowl guard, and he's not even holding out. And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of like, okay, don't even think Trey Smith's going to come in without a big deal, but
yeah,
he's a Pro Bowl guard making under $150,000. So go figure.
Yeah.
Joe Thuney has a 5-year, $80+ million contract. So that's to tell you. So like, hopefully this works out, because I think Trey Smith will get paid. I was expecting it to be this year, but George Karlaftis is a complete guy. Yeah, George Karlaftis. If you saw, I'm assuming you didn't see the play, but George Karlaftis just hit Hollywood Brown. It's not a big deal. Travis Kelce, in my opinion, Travis Kelce's gotten a little full of himself, but I don't mind. He got in fights in training camp last year. Great guy, during the season. And nobody is sick of seeing Taylor Swift at Chiefs games. There's not one single Chiefs. It's funny. I work with a guy here in Vegas who's a Vikings fan. He's sick of Taylor Swift. And I was like, it's funny. It's funny. The Titans need to build chemistry and develop Levis. You're speaking the truth, man. A quick rhythm passing offense is not his strength. He's a big dude with a big arm, and in a power running offense where you have him going downfield, that works. Having him go back and just ding, 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 that he didn't do it in college. He doesn't look like he can do this in the pros, but all of a sudden, magically, you're just going to snap your finger. Good luck. If it works, they could be a wild card team. I just don't think it will. I don't. Yeah. I'm not asking, like, I'm not getting a guy like Josh Allen, for example. I'm not asking Josh Allen to run the Bengals type of offense. I don't think it would work. So why am I asking Will Levis to do it? That's one thing. So Karlaftis. Yeah. I started liking him watching Derek Barnes. George Karlaftis is one of my favorite. That's a name that didn't make the top 100. I could argue should be in the top 100. And I forgot to put that on my missing players list, who I have at the bottom, who I will get to. It's just got some great comments here. Bears may end up picking number 1 if Williams. Perry, I would love that, man. I would love that. I would laugh so hard. By the way, everybody's getting fired in Chicago if this happens.
That'd be great.
The chat's on fire today, Keaton. Keaton, you brought it out, man. You come on the show and the chat is on fire, man. By the way, Perry, you're 100% correct, man. That Von Miller contract destroyed the Bills, man.
He's still on the Buffalo Bills, right now?
not only is he on the Buffalo Bills, he's making over $20 million a year. Yeah. That I remember when they signed him, I was like, that's such a mistake. They had all these young, talented defensive ends that they drafted, and then they brought in Von Miller. It didn't really make a lot of sense. And it just so it's a shame too. It's a real shame. Raven 76 be more to a contract extension. You disagree or agree? I'm going to answer first, but I definitely want to hear from Keaton. I think it's a mistake. I really think that they should have gone in another direction. I really do. If I had a daughter, I would want her to date Tua. If I was an owner of an NFL team, I would not want a quarterback that I can't count on to stay healthy. A+ guy, not going to embarrass your organization. I think it's a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like, I just don't think, like I said, I'm not saying Tua is a terrible quarterback, but he's just hasn't gotten it done. You know, even last year, you had a chance to win the division, potentially even get home field, and then they choked away the last, 2-3 weeks in the regular season. Came down to the last game against Buffalo, and then you had to go to Kansas City when you could have had a game in Miami. So it's like
it was like in Kansas City was under a winter advisory. It was the only playoff game that I watched as a Chiefs fan that after 5 minutes I was like, whew. Yeah, as soon as Tua walked out on the field, I was like, oh yeah, Chiefs won this game. It was the only playoff game where, like, I'm not on pins and needles the whole game. Even he had that big touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill, and I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. That's all the points that they're going to get. And I mean, he literally froze to death. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not insulting Tua. I'm not condemning him at all. I get it. You're from Hawaii. You played at Alabama. You got drafted by Miami. Are you supposed to be able to play in negative 20-something degree weather? No, you're not. I'm not blasting him for that. But you're at home against the Bills. I'm not going to look it up. I think the score was 21-17. Is something like that.
Yeah, 21-17. Yeah.
And the Bills had a punt return. It was like a 95-yard punt return for a touchdown. So your defense held the Bills offense with Josh Allen to like 14 points, and you can't win that game?
Yeah. Again, too, it's not his ability. I mean, there's times where he's made plays. There's times where he hasn't made plays at the end of games.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, and if he stays healthy, he's gonna have some good numbers and everything. But no, I completely think it's a bad move. One Pride sent me the contract. He said same contract as Goff. Let me ask you, Keaton, which quarterback would you rather have if you have to win a game? Would you rather have Goff or would you rather have Tua?
Goff.
Yeah.
Goff. Goff hasn't. I mean. People look at Goff and it's like, oh, okay, well, he's not like a Tua or he's not like a Lamar Jackson, those type of quarterbacks. But like Goff has proven like he can get it done when it matters. Even though, like, look at last year, if Dan Campbell would have just wasn't stupid enough to go for it, you know what I'm saying? Lions probably would have been going to the Super Bowl last year. Like
getting blasted by Lions fans right now. No, you put Jared Goff on the Dolphins. He's throwing for 5,000.
You said what?
He's throwing for 5,000. If you put Goff on the Dolphins, he's throwing for 5,000. I think Tua had 4,600.
That's what I think the football to his receivers. Tua every time Tua throws the ball, Tyreek has to turn back like this.
Yeah, if you put Goff as a quarterback to the Dolphins. Goff would have 5,000. I mean, he would. He would. I mean, yeah. Keaton's not a Lions fan. I'm not a Lions fan. I'm just telling you, if Goff's a better quarterback, you sign him for the same amount of money. And with Goff, you don't have the injury issues.
Yeah.
With Tua, it's a legitimate concern. It's a bad. I get why they did it. But it's a mistake. Mm-hmm. Polk said, I hear the fans say the Patriots don't have any weapons. Well, this is an Iraq, buddy. When the other teams come looking for trouble, they'll find Oh, okay. Not the smartest thing out of a rookie's mouth, but it's still better than calling Patrick Mahomes a bitch. So
Yeah.
at Raven76, Vince made a big mistake signed to it. Yeah. It's funny. They have like I think 70 million this year in Tua, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle. Yeah, that's gonna. I mean, that's the thing. I keep saying, like, if like if they don't produce, and if they can't get to a Super Bowl, and if Tua somehow gets hurt, gets knocked out, like, yeah, you're gonna look back at it. That might be like it could possibly be the worst contract probably in NFL history.
It could be really bad.
Could be,
you remember 2 years ago he was like in concussion protocol for like the whole off season. I mean, he had that leg injury. He was in concussion protocol. This was the only year he didn't stay healthy at Alabama. Behind literally like a pro line in college, and he still didn't stay healthy. So,
yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, he is.
Travis Kelce will find out. Well, yeah, it's Perry. I'm the only person in the world that really likes the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift thing, but no, it's not going to end well. I mean, Kelsey's going to retire in a few years, and I think Taylor Swift will probably be, dating a singer or an actor. It's probably out, but I'm enjoying it. I'm pulling for him, but no, I don't think it's going to work.
Good entertainment.
It's phenomenal entertainment. I love it. I love this. Did you Keaton? So it's, you probably don't follow everything like I do. Do you know they're making a movie about the love story between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? It's coming out Christmas time.
That doesn't surprise me.
Keaton says he's going to watch it at least 7 times. So day one.
Oh man,
day one.
I'll be interested. Yeah. Tune into that, see what that's like.
Perry, one reason I don't watch Dolphins games, I don't want to see Tua get hurt that game against the. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, but I'm not scared to watch Dolphins games. Would I bank on Tua being healthy for 17? No.
He shouldn't even been playing in that game anyway. Like
he shouldn't. That was crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, the rumor Jordan Love may hold out. He is not reported to training camp right now. Just so you know, I think that they'll work it out. But Jordan Love is not in training camp right now.
Was like is his contract?
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to get big money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll work it out.
I think they'll work it. I don't think it's an issue, but if Jordan Love doesn't want to play, the Packers are in trouble. But I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think they'll get it worked out.
Yeah.
Hill would have, yeah, okay. So Funk, yeah, Hill would have to stop, but I think our point. I would rather have it, all things being equal. You remember as a kid, like you're a captain and everybody's on the fence and you just pick, whoever. Me and Keaton would both pick golf over Tua. That's all we're saying. So
yeah.
My woman says she hopes Swift and Kelce stays together. She thinks they're cute together. Thanks now. I love it. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's great for football. But I hope it works out too. But let's be honest. I mean, it's probably not. But it's fun. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
I feel every NFL team should have retractable dome stadiums for harsh and bad weather. So, fun fact, they proposed that in Kansas City years ago, and taxpayers were like, "Hell no!" And it failed big time. Big time. He says dome. We got it. We got it. We're not grammar Nazis here. We got it. We got it. A lot of you guys, I don't make fun of people for grammar errors. I know a lot of you guys are watching on your phone. I do typos all the time. I'm a small dude, but I have like kind of bigger hands. I fat finger stuff all the time. So no, we got you. We know that you're not saying a doom stadium. We know it's a dome. So we got you. Taxpayers don't want to fit the bill. They just don't. Kansas City, it failed big time. And they were trying to promote it by saying, listen, you put a dome on Arrowhead, you'll get a Super Bowl. And taxpayers are like, no, fuck that. Now, you're in Ohio, and Cincinnati. Are you closer to Cincinnati, or are you closer to Cleveland?
I'm closer to Cincinnati.
That would be a great. The coldest game in football history was in Cincinnati. It was before you were born. It was 1981. It was like -60. The Chargers, of all teams, went there for the AFC Championship game. Kellen Winslow says he still suffers from frostbite burn from that game. So,
yeah.
I mean, do you support this? Should they have dome stadiums? I mean,
look at I think the Buffalo Bills are a great example. I mean,
yeah,
like they had to travel to Detroit that one year when they got like that.
That's right, I forgot about that.
I'm like, why don't they build a dome for them? Like, if you know they're gonna get snow, Buffalo obviously gets like 16 inches of snow every year, or whatever. So it's like I think they should. I mean, I agree, especially if you're like one of those cities that gets snow, like Buffalo, Chicago, for example. Like, yeah, I mean, I support it, at least for Buffalo's standard point.
So Perry says even in Canada they have the outdoor stadiums for Canada. I'm kind of by the way, you're speaking facts here, Perry. It should only be grass. It should only be grass. They should get rid of that synthetic turf or whatever the fuck stadium. Yeah. It should only be grass. It should only be grass. But it's funny because I can argue both ways. A lot of you Keaton, you probably don't remember this, but Seattle used to have the Kingdom. And it was a brutal place to play. I remember the Chiefs, for some weird reason, the Chiefs are in the AFC West, even though they're in the Midwest. But anyway, Seattle used to be part of the AFC West. And I remember, and for the longest time, if you went up to Seattle, the Kingdom was just brutal. And it wasn't a weather issue because they play outdoors now. But it was just a brutal place to play. It was just the crowd was nuts. It was loud. It was brutal. In the 80s and early 90s, and I'm sorry, late 70s, 80s, the eighth wonder of the world, the Houston Astrodome, was a fun. There's no weather issue in Houston, by the way. I mean, there's no weather, but they used to play in a dome, and it was awesome. It was that. You probably don't remember this. Some of you, okay, I'm going to try not to rant about this. Some of you remember in the 90s, the House of Pain with Jerry Glanville, the 80s, late 80s. Remember that? Not a weather issue, but Houston played in a dome, and it was fun. I mean, so I can argue indoor, outdoor. I can argue indoor, outdoor, but every NFL team should play in grass. So
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Less injuries on grass. Yeah, I agree. But in the playoffs, every team deserves the best chance. I mean, it's funny because last year the Chiefs played Miami, and you knew in 5 minutes the Chiefs are going to win that game. I mean, they had no chance. So
I knew that. I mean, once they lost that home field, I was like, they're not going to Kansas City winning. So.
Yeah, I mean it's a good argument. I can argue both ways, but the one thing that NFL needs to have all grass, but I can argue indoor, outdoor. I can argue that. Yeah. By the way, so the Chiefs used to have AstroTurf, and I got to walk out on it. I was a field trip, and it was like a track. It was spongy. It was like you ever play miniature golf? It was that. It was that, and it was tough. But yet Oilers, Do you remember, Funk, when they actually canceled a preseason game in Philly because the turf was all messed up and they had to cancel the game? I want to say it was like 2002, 2003, something like that. But anyway, yeah, that Oilers turf, that was terrible. And I think the Lions now have field grass. Quote, I could be wrong about that. But let's get into the next 10 here on the list here.
Monte Smith.
I can make a few arguments here. I thought about arguing about Hassan Reddick and Saquon Barkley, but I'm not going to fight too much. I could argue Tristan Wirfs should be much higher than 85.
DK Metcalf at 84.
84.
He should be a little higher than that.
It's like this. Here's the deal. Here's the deal with DK Metcalf and Derwin James. Like, at their best, they're top 100 players, but they don't. Whoa! Wow! Look at this. Keaton.
Oh, wow. Hey.
Jordan Love. What did we just say? So here we are. There's no big news that's going to pop up. Hey, Keaton, you know what? You want to come on my show and let's just talk football. We'll talk the top 100 list because nothing's going on in the NFL. So Tua gets signed to a big deal. Right now, it's breaking news. It was just released. Jordan Love, 4-year, $220 million deal, includes a $75 million signing bonus and $155 million guaranteed. Wow.
That's crazy. Wow.
Keaton, can we rewind this where we just said that we both just said, like, right before this was announced, they're going to work it out. Like,
yeah, literally, I said, like, they'll work it out.
Not a big deal. It's going to be.
Wow.
We know our shit. That's why you tune into us. You know,
right.
Like, yeah. Wow. Ravens. I'm a little surprised. Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy.
When Barkley's healthy. Here's the deal, though, Perry. Let me ask you this here: is he going to play 17 games?
I mean, I'm just glad to see him on the better team than the Giants.
Like, I am too. And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't put him in red because I think he is a top 100 player. The only questions is with him with health. I was, to be honest, I didn't have a problem with that. I didn't have a problem with Hassan Reddick. DK Metcalf and Derwin James, when they're at their best, they're top 100 players. I put them in red because I don't think that they're top 100 players. DK Metcalf is kind of limited, like doesn't run a full route tree, inconsistent hands, has some games where he just doesn't show up. Derwin James has some limitations, but he had that one season where he was just ungodly good, and it's kind of I'm interested to see if Harbaugh can use him right. Budda Baker is one of my all-time favorite players. Missed, I think, 6 games last year. Demanded a trade. Then Cardinals just said, "Shut up and play." I love Budda Baker, but I don't. Yeah, Funk. I think he should be just outside the top 100 personally. Now, keep in mind, there's so many good things about DK Metcalf, but there's several receivers that I would put above him, and I got a few that aren't on the list that I'm going to put on there. I'll get to that. Kirk Cousins. I mean, he's going to a new team. Missed most of the season.
Shoot.
I mean, even if Kirk Cousins played a full season, I'm almost thinking 81 might be too high. Okay, so Keaton,
I agree.
I'm not going to argue. I could make a I could argue Tristan Wirfs and Montez Sweat should be higher. I'm not going to. Devontae Smith at 90, I'm pretty good with. I could argue maybe he's a little low. But the ones that got in red are players I think that are ranked too high. I'll be honest with you. These 4 players, I would put probably Derwin James. No, you know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns here. The 4 guys I got in red, I think should be outside the top 100.
I agree. I probably would honestly, I probably would put Kirk Cousins is definitely a little too high. Derwin James and Boo Baker, I probably would move them back. Probably outside. I think you can. I think DK Metcalf deserves to be in the top 100. I mean, he probably move him back to like a few spots, but I think he deserves to be in that top 100 though. And he's just, I mean, you have Geno Smith throwing you the football. If you have any other quarterback, other than Geno Smith throwing them the football, like you just never know. Like, I don't know.
I just had a brain. Tyler Lockett. I think Tyler Lockett's the better receiver, to be honest with you. He's not on the list.
On that team.
Yeah.
True.
So, Perry, what this is that this is the list from the NFL Network. What they do is they pull all the NFL players, and they get this is the list actually from the NFL players. The NFL players make this list, and what they do is they give every NFL player a sheet of paper and say, just list the top 20 players. Now, most NFL players, if you're a quarterback, you usually get like 20 quarterbacks. If you're a wide receiver, it's usually 20 receivers. And so that's why you're going to get like more receivers on the list than you're going to get offensive linemen. And then some guys will just put 20 random players, but it's from the NFL players. And when it says top players of 2024, you have no idea what somebody's thinking. Somebody could be thinking it's an all-time list. It's a list of past accomplishments. Is it going into this year? Is it potential? You can't vouch. That's why it makes the list so much fun, and that's why we're talking about it. I'm just offering my opinion, but no, it's from the NFL players, and it used to be open to the public. Now it's only on NFL Plus. I haven't signed up for it yet because I'm spending my money on other things. I am going to sign up for NFL Plus, and I also have to sign up for the Sunday ticket because I'm going to do play-by-play for the Chiefs games in Vegas. So, yeah, I should have just. I wish I could have kept everything in the Kansas City channels, and I switched it to Vegas when I moved here, and I was like, "Can I switch it back to Kansas City?" Or like, "No, you're in Vegas." So I messed up, but I have to sign up. So I have to sign up for Sunday ticket. I have to sign up for Netflix. I signed up for Max a few days ago. I've been watching some DC stuff. Kind of a superhero nerd. I like that stuff, but also watched the first 2 episodes of Hard Knocks. I haven't watched the last 2 yet, but yeah, Tim. It's funny. Me and Keaton were just talking about 15 minutes ago that hey, don't worry about it. It's not an issue. And so you don't even need to watch this. You didn't even watch. You need to tune into ESPN. Me and Keaton got you covered. My boy Tim. I've known Tim for over 20 years. Tim's one of my best friends. So, yeah. Not yet, Perry, because it's an extension. So you could still. So they signed. They signed their defensive tackle. It's Kenny something. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, they signed their stud defensive tackle. They're adding some pieces. It's not closed, but once that year kicks in, then they're gonna have some problems. But right now, yeah, I'm gonna get NFL Plus rating 6. B Morris has happened yet. So
is that like the is that the same thing as like Sunday tickets? Is that something different? The Plus, NFL Plus?
No, the NFL Plus is different than the Sunday ticket. The NFL Plus on the NFL Network. So the NFL Network used to release all these videos to the public. Now they have it on NFL Plus. I'm going to sign up for the yearly. I just haven't yet because I'm just spending. I'm just keeping money. Yeah. By the way, my buddy is watching. My buddy. My buddy is actually took off work tonight just so he could see the Deadpool movie. Yeah. I heard it's going to be terrible. I haven't gone to the movies in a long time. It drives me nuts because like people are always on their phones during the movies. And if I see the glare, I like to sit in the very back. And if I see a glare from a phone, it just so I stop going. So but anyway, I'm one of those grouches that get off your damn phone, the movie's on, but
Right.
all right, Keaton. Before we move on, is there anything that stands out? Anything that I missed? I think I did a pretty good job here. What stands out to you?
Probably Kirk. I mean, like I said, I think Kirk Cousins is definitely a little too high from my liking. I mean, he hasn't really. I mean, like I say, he's coming off of an injury too, and it's gonna be interesting because, like I said, I'm still shocked to this day that the Atlanta Falcons drafted. I still understand that. I still understand. Like, I guess could Penix potentially play this season? I mean, there's no guarantee Kirk Cousins stays healthy this year.
I do think Penix might play a little bit, and we talked about the Tua deal. I think if you put Penix on that offense, you could have an additional dimension and make that a fun team. But
yeah.
Perry, by the way, so I've been meaning to do this. I moved here about 5 months ago, and right behind me is where I want to put the TV. You can't see it because I have the screen up, but I haven't put the TV. I haven't purchased the TV. So before football season, I have to purchase a TV, NFL Sunday Ticket, NFL Plus, and Netflix, and I'm just stalling on spending all that money. But I've been looking at, there's this 55-inch screen TV I've been wanting to buy. And we agree, Cousins not a top 100 player. We agree.
Yeah.
We agree. Yeah. All right, so 80 through 71, Sam Laporta. I love Sam Laporta. I think 80 is a perfect spot. Minkah Fitzpatrick, a player I absolutely love, injured a large part of the year.
Was injured last year. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so this, let's say he comes back and he's 100%. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. But he's an older player. I don't know. And Laramie Tunsil, by the way, missed several games last year. I think that because Houston got there and he was a popular name. There's a couple. So here's the deal. Tristan Wirfs here at 85 is a better player than Laramie Tunsil. That's what I'm going to say. That's why I got a red mark around Laramie Tunsil, who should be on the top 100 list, maybe. He had some injuries. I think he played 12 games last year. Justin Herbert, I know that Justin Herbert missed a lot of games too, but I think he belongs on the list. Maybe it's a homer thing. Trey Hendrickson had 17 and a half sacks last year, and I could make an argument he is way too low at 77, but I'm not gonna fight over this. But Fitzpatrick and Tunsil, in my opinion, are ranked way too high or low, depending on how you look at it. Tunsil should be in the top 100. Fitzpatrick, maybe 90 to 100. Injured last year.
Yeah. I pretty much agree with this. I mean, I pretty much agree with most of this list. I probably would move, like I said, Fitzpatrick back a few spots from 79. Because like he did miss most of the year last year.
I mean, if he comes back and he's healthy, yeah. But I mean, you're talking a lot of ifs,
Yeah.
And then Tristan Wirfs is a better player than Laramie Tunsil. I don't. Matter of fact, I would probably take Landon Dickerson over Laramie Tunsil as well, if Slasher's still there. Jeffrey Simmons missed some time last year, but God, he is so dominant when he plays. Justin Herbert, who I think a lot higher Justin Herbert than a lot of people. Dre Greenlaw. Chiefs fans don't want to hear this, but there's a good chance Dre Greenlaw doesn't get hurt, that the 49ers win that Super Bowl. There's definitely a good possibility. He's a really good player. I think 76 is a great spot for him. I didn't put it, but Trey Hendrickson at 77, way too low. I like his game, but I get why he's 77. Small market. They didn't go to the playoffs last year. So
you think he should be higher?
I think Hendrickson should be higher on the list. I think he's better than 77. I actually, when I first did this, I had Trey Hendrickson in green, and I just took it off because I'm like, well, I kind of see it, but I mean, it's tough. But I'm not going to argue too much with Henderson. Greenlaw, really good player. So both 76, 70. It's the way. Okay, so here's the thing. Herbert, because he was injured, would not be as good as these two players, but it's a 2024 list, so I get it. Laporta is an up and coming player. If he breaks out this year, he could be a top tight end in football. He absolutely could be. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if at the end of the year we're calling Laporta the best tight end in football. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I have Laporta after Kelsey, Andrews, and ahead of George Kittle. That's fair. I'm drawing a blank here if Kittle's on this list. I don't think Kittle's on this list. No, he's got to be on this list. Yeah, I'm drawing a complete blank. I know Kelsey's on the list. I'm pretty sure Kittle's on this list. Andrews may not be on the list, but at the end of 2024, Laporta may be the best. So,
interesting.
Hendrickson's a beast, man. I argued. So when I first did this Raven 76B more, I put Hendrickson in green, and then I decided to take it down. But Hendrickson's the one dude I would probably put higher. 17 and a half sacks, and he plays to run well. Really, 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 really good. Really good player. I think Herbert is too high right now. If Herbert develops under Harbaugh, he could be number 2 behind Mahomes. I think that's where his ceiling is, number 2 behind Mahomes. I was thinking that if they brought in a different, so Harbaugh is going to bring a more run balanced team to the Chargers, but if they went after, I can't, Ben Johnson, that's the name I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
They brought in Ben Johnson. I could see Herbert being the number 2 quarterback in football because Harbaugh's going to bring a more run-oriented team. I don't see him being number 2, but I thought that there was a good chance he brought in a coach who wants to throw the ball a little more than number 2. But it's going to be very interesting. Keaton, let me ask you this here. Perry says, I think Herbert's too high. It's 75. I mean, that's a pretty big number. He missed several games last year. What's your thoughts?
I mean, that's a good argument. I mean, like I said, he did miss some time last year. I'm curious to see, like I said, like what Perry said, I'm curious to see what Harbaugh does to Justin Herbert. Now, I mean, he's probably going to be bringing more of like a run-oriented team, basically. Harbaugh likes to build through the trenches on both sides of the ball. So, yeah, I can make an argument. I mean, I think he's right where he needs to be at 75. I mean, I can understand why you would move him back a few spots, just because, like I said, he missed some time last year. And then you also have, like I said, Jim Harbaugh is there now, so it's going to be interesting seeing, how those two mesh together and see how far they can take this thing. I think they have the potential to become, a sneaky team. I think it might take another year or so just to, get the chemistry down and stuff.
Yeah, I think it'll take a year because they were really a finesse team and they want to be a physical team. So I think it'll take a year, but the talent's there. Chargers are a very interesting story. Greenlaw is arguably the best will linebacker in the league right now. I agree completely, Funk. It was, don't get me wrong. I never want to see a guy get hurt, but I was kind of relieved, like it was a big plus. I mean, really, seriously, Greenlaw stays in that game, 49ers could be hosting a Lombardi trophy. He's really good. And how will Henderson do without Reader eating up 2 blocks all the time? So they drafted Miles Murphy last year, and he's a guy that could be just an absolute monster. He's a guy I've been telling people, watch out. Miles Murphy could have a big year. We'll find out. I mean, they drafted a couple defensive tackles that are pretty good players in college. Let's see if the combination of those two can translate to the pro game. But it will be interesting. It'll also be interesting to see how much he does for Aiden Hutchinson as well. So, Laporta is already a top tight end, no doubts there. If he breaks out, it'll talk about the best tight end. He has that potential. He really does, and it's saying a lot, but I love his game. And we all agree that Laporta would be much better in Chiefs red than Honolulu blue. I mean, we all agree on that. So do you think Herbert could be used like what Harbaugh did with Cap? No, they're different types of players, but Herbert's very athletic. But I mean, he's a much better passer than Kaepernick. So much better passer than Kaepernick. So let's take a look at 70 through 61. Amari Cooper, I have no problems with. Cooper Kupp and Teron Armstead both were injured last year. Teron Armstead was threatening retirement. I don't think he belongs on the list at all, even though the body of his career is really, really good. I mean, I thought he was underrated for a long time when he was with the Saints. Cooper Kupp, a couple years ago, the best receiver in football, injured. Is he going to come back and be the same guy? Probably not. I mean, let's just be honest. Both these guys way too high or low on this list. Teron Armstead, I don't think should be on the top 100. So I'm going to go back here. Laramie Tunsil's better. Tristan Wirf's better in both of them. All right, that's just the facts. So Teron Armstead, he shouldn't be on this list. Cooper Kupp at 69, depending on how you're looking at it. But there's several receivers on this list that are better. You're going by what he did, a couple years ago. So,
yeah, Cooper Kupp.
But take a look here, Keaton. Here, 70 through 61. What stands out to you?
No, I mean, I think this list is pretty solid. I mean, I do agree. I think Terrion Arnold or Armstead should be.
I called him Arnold too, Dan.
Arnold, yeah. I'm talking about the draft pick from the Eagle, but yeah, I think he should definitely be somewhere outside the top 100 for sure. I don't think he deserves to be on that. I agree with that. Cooper Kupp, you could probably move him back a few spots as well. But yeah, I mean, I like this list. I mean, Patrick Queen, I think he's going to be that's going to really help Pittsburgh's defense a lot. I'm excited to see what he brings, and he's staying in the division too, former Baltimore Ravens. So that's going to be interesting there. Jalen Wall. I didn't know. Oh, Jalen. That's Jalen Wall, 63. Okay.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle, and then Raven 6B more. Yeah, Poyer signed with Miami. It's kind of funny because Buffalo got rid of several starters on both sides of the ball, and it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this kind of youth movement that they're going with. So it's going to be kind of fun. Poyer could be a big signing in Miami, but Miami is another team that lost a lot. And
True.
When a player Poyer's 31 and he had a good year last year, but you always kind of question when a player is past 30 going with a new team. I think there's always some question marks, but I don't have a problem with him being 65. Justin Matabuke, I'm butchering that name. I apologize. I could argue he should be much higher than 61. He is a really, really good player. Big contract this year. Big piece of what Baltimore does well. Stuff's run had, I think it was 13 sacks. I thought 61. I'm not going to argue too much, but I was like, God, he should be higher. God, he's a good player.
Yeah.
Keaton, man, I put a question mark with San Francisco and Brandon Ayuk. You never know what's going to happen. I have no problem at 66. I don't know if he's going to be with I don't know if he's going to play with San Francisco. Big question mark. So
I really want. I mean, if he came in New England, that'd be awesome.
Nobody wants to see him in New England. I seriously, I really would like to see that. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I just asked how Harbaugh might use Herbert. So in the past, Harbaugh's had more run balanced physical teams, and he's really taken the pressure off of the quarterback trying to win games all by themselves. And that's the thing, is that you're going to see Herbert throw less than he did in the previous regime. That's why his numbers may go down. I don't think he's going to be used in a zone read option or anything like that. I just see the Chargers, who were a much more passing type of team, they're going to transition to be more running type of team. And basically Herbert's just going to be used less, which I think will be a problem year one, because he's when you had Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and Joshua, I think it's Joshua Dobbs, and then they drafted Quentin Johnston last year. You had 4 stud receivers, and what they were going to do was just come out and throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. And it could have worked if the defense worked, but it didn't. So that's why you got Harbaugh there. Basically, Herbert's going to throw the ball less, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle it, because when Harbaugh arrived with the 49ers, they had one of the best defenses in football, and it worked. They didn't need to score 30 points a game. They have a bad defense, and they have some good pieces, but there's a lot of holes on the defensive side of the ball. I'm giving you I'm saying a lot of stuff, but I really don't have an answer. The short version is he's just going to throw the ball less. So,
yeah.
Mad Beast. Yeah, dude, he's such a good player. I was thinking about saying 61's too low for him, and he should be higher, lower, depending on how you want to talk about the list. But I think Mad Beast, I love that name. Chargers under Harbaugh will be like the 49ers 2011, 2012. I don't think so, because those 49ers teams had great defenses, and you're not going to have that in LA, at least not this year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
My buddy Tim says, I was up near St. Joe today and drove by Missouri Western. Cars everywhere. Chiefs are must-see TV. Yeah, I bet you they are. Tim, I'm 99% sure you've seen it. Where I'm here, of course, in Raiders territory, so it's just been everywhere. Where the Raiders rookie defensive back calls Patrick Mahomes a bitch. So,
like, why would you do that? Like you did that. Now you're trying to get Super Bowl again and all that.
I put money on the Chiefs over Raiders. I know I will. And by the way, again, in the link below, get free money. Sign up with BetUS. Get 125% match on your first 3 deposits. I'm using it. Week 1, I'm going to put some action down on the Patriots, cover 9.5. Hopefully that number goes up, because there's lots of hype on the Bengals. But and then I'm going to put some money on the Chiefs kicking the shit out of the Raiders. I promise you, Mahomes is going to remember that.
Oh, he will.
Brandon will be a top wide receiver for any team he signs on. The question is, which teams have cap space, sign him to mega. It's going to be interesting. He's flip-flopped back and forth with the 49ers. Patriots, I think, would be a great fit. Steelers would be a great fit.
Yeah, $43 million.
I mean, you got cap space in the AFC, and I think that would have been the good trade place after you drafted Purcell. But I have no idea what the fuck this is. So, all right, let's get to the final 10 here, 60 through 51, the final players on the top 50 list here. And I did a terrible job with this. Okay, there we go. I didn't put it in red, but I really questioned Raheem Mostert at 60. I didn't think he was. I didn't know if he's really the 60th best player in the National Football League. At 18 touchdowns, over 1,100 yards, I question that. Bobby Wagner is
59.
Yeah. One of the all-time greatest linebackers in NFL history.
Yeah.
Had some good numbers if you just look at the stats, but Seattle didn't have a good defense last year. Bobby Wagner was exposed in passing coverage for like the first time in his career. He's not 59 right now today.
Yeah,
Yeah, I should be on the top 100, maybe. By the way, like Bobby Wagner should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Bobby Wagner should be in the conversation of greatest middle linebackers of all time. But today, right now, no. Stephon Diggs, 56. No, I don't even think he's worthy of being on the top 100. Jonathan Allen missed several games last year. I was really surprised that he's 54 on this list. Now, keep in mind, 2 years ago, I'd have no problem with him being, on at 54. Last year being on 54. This year, I'm like, I mean, he played. I think he played in 12 games or something like that. Christian Wilkins, I think should be much higher on this list. I'm a huge Christian Wilkins fan. Huge Christian Wilkins. Okay, so I had a big draft crush on Christian Wilkins coming out of college. I loved his game last year. There's no way you're going to tell me that. By the way, there's no way you're going to tell me that. Let me ask you this: you can build a team. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm having some issues here with the computer, but are you really going to tell me that Jonathan Allen's better than Christian Wilkins? Really?
Yeah, I don't know about all that. That's crazy. That defense about to be freaking nasty this year.
I mean, you got Max Crosby. I'm actually excited where he's going to be. Max Crosby's 100% on this list. He could be top 10. I mean, Max Crosby's really good, and then you had Wilkins, but Wilkins at 58. I don't know what people are thinking. Yeah, I agree, Perry. Bobby Wagner's too high. He probably, you know what? Maybe at the bottom of the top 100. I'm just. And you're right here. That's my opinion too. I think Diggs. I'll be honest. I don't think Diggs should be on the list. And Jonathan Allen. I mean, he was injured for several games, and the defense was terrible. So I don't get it. Yeah, I can argue Patrick Surtain and Zach Martin should be a little higher, but Patrick Surtain I thought would be top 40. To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah. He's only real good player on that defense.
Yeah, I mean, they got rid of Justin Simmons. I don't understand how he's still unsigned. Nobody wants to see him in New England, by the way, Keaton. I seriously I'm looking at places where Justin Simmons can go. Pittsburgh just signed Eddie Jackson. I thought he would be in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. No, Eddie Jackson signed in. I'm sorry, not Pittsburgh. Baltimore. I'm sorry. Sorry, Raven 6B. By the way, great signing. I thought Simmons might sign in Baltimore, but I would love for him to come to Kansas City, even though we're stacked at safety. But I honestly, Simmons in a place like New England, oh God, that would be that. By the way, Simmons signing with like New England under Belichick would be a Belichick type move. My opinion, but Surtain, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Eddie Jackson. That's a great signing by the Ravens, by the way. Eddie Jackson. I've always liked Eddie Jackson. Huge Eddie Jackson fan. Diggs is too high, Jonathan. Oh, I'm sorry. Already had that. Do you think Wilkins will have a big impact with Las Vegas? I think he would. I think he could. I think him and Max Crosby could be potentially just a dominant defense. They're talking on radio. I was listening to some Raiders sports radio earlier today, and the training camp battle between the quarterbacks is what's going on, and it's a tough one because they don't know who's going to be the starter. It's an interesting battle. I think the offense is going to be bad. I really do. I think their offense is going to be comically bad, but the defense could be really good. Which you saw with the Jets last year, with the Bears last year is kind of like what I see with the Raiders, a team with a good defense, but just so limited offensively. But matter of fact, what you saw with the Patriots could be like the Raiders, a team with a really good defense and just an offense that struggles.
That was terrible.
No, I get it. But yeah, I do think he'll have a big impact. It's just the problem is it may not turn into wins. Is what I want to say. I do think he'll have a big impact. I still see the Raiders winning about 7-8 games. So,
they'll be competitive. Yeah.
Keaton, 60 through 51, man. Some thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Wilkins definitely should be way higher than 58, in my opinion. I mean, just given his, overall skill talent, I mean, he's definitely going to help the Raiders tremendously. I mean, Diggs, I think he should be. I mean, I think he's too high, in my opinion. And I'm not saying Diggs is a bad wide receiver, but he was a problem in the locker room. Buffalo. That's the reason why Buffalo got rid of him, and they got Keon Coleman instead. I mean, they got younger, but I mean. It's going to be curious. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with him in Houston because, Tank Dell and all those other receivers, I think they're going to be ahead of him. Like, is he going to cause more drama down there? So we'll see. But, yeah, Jonathan Allen definitely should be, I think he's too high as well. I think Patrick Surtain definitely should be, I agree with what you said. I think he definitely should be somewhere in that top 40-ish, maybe even top 30. But, yeah.
I'm pulling up Stephon Diggs' numbers. It's actually a little better than I thought, but 107 receptions, that's a big number. 1183 and 8 touchdowns, so 11.1 yards a catch, and that's 56.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm saying it now. One of these 4 teams will sign Simmons: Patriots, Chargers, Bears, and Titans. Well, the Titans just signed Jamal Adams, so they're you can take them off that list completely.
Probably the Patriots, I would say.
I seriously, that if Belichick was there, they would definitely sign Simmons, and I think it would fit perfectly into their defense because he could do so. He's such a good player. He's such a good player. The Chargers, they got Derwin James, and he kind of does a lot of the same things. I'll be honest, Simmons to the Chargers kind of makes sense in a weird way. He does a lot of things that Derwin James does, but Derwin James is more your strong safety. Simmons more of a free safety, so that could work. Bears, maybe, but why would you let go of Eddie Jackson if
Patriots make sense.
Patriots do make a lot of sense, actually. They really do. Dan, you need to worry about being brainwashed to be in Las Vegas. I'm not switching over, but they are very passionate about their Raiders, and it's been a good place so far. But the fun thing, the neat thing is that most of the Raiders fan base know that they're not there yet. That's kind of the neat thing. Most of them have enough common sense that there was a guy on Raiders YouTuber I just saw, and I was liking his content until he tried explaining that Aiden O'Connell had a lot of Tom Brady type traits, and it's like, no, don't be comparing Aiden O'Connell to Brady. Just you were doing good, and then you went there. So, all right, I have in the next slide a handful of players that did not make the list, but I think there's 3 players that I could be wrong about that could still be on the list here. I'm going to throw up this list here and see what you think here. Now, Mike Evans could be on the list. Nico Collins could be on the list. Travis Etienne could be on the list. But the rest of these guys are probably not going to be on the list, and I think they're missing in action. For those of you that don't know, Derek Brown signed a massive contract with Carolina, the smartest thing Carolina Panthers did. Derek Brown is a 320-plus pound defensive lineman, had over 100 tackles last year. That's a linebacker number, and this is a dude who plays defensive tackle. Doesn't have a lot of sacks, and Carolina won 2 games. That's why he's not on the top 100 list. Derek Brown is easily one of the top 100 players in the National Football League. Honestly, if he's on 50 through 41, I think he would deserve it. I think he's that good. He's not going to make this list, but he should be on it. Again, Nico Collins and Evans, both these guys might be between 50 and 41. Travis Etienne may make the list. The rest of these guys are probably not going to be on the list. But these are all guys that should be in the top 100. You can argue Breece Hall if you want, but here's the deal. Dude had about by the way, he had 70. I looked at it, was 76 or 78 receptions last year. Almost 1,500 total yards with a quarterback. So, yeah. And by the way, 100 tackles for a defensive lineman is insane. Derek Brown was a high draft pick. I absolutely love this dude coming out of Auburn. You haven't heard about him because he plays for Carolina and he doesn't sack the quarterback, but he had over 100 tackles. Carolina gave him a buttload of money last year. He's a guy in like a major media market where the team was winning. A place like Dallas, he would get a lot of love, but because he's in Carolina and he doesn't get a lot of sacks, but 100 tackles for a defensive lineman, I've never heard of it before. You'll never hear of it again. I mean, Derek Brown is one of the best players in the National Football League, and he should be on this list. So,
right, yeah, I agree. Mosley is not on the list.
I have a name that I have on here. I'm sure you will agree with. Kyle Duggar signed a nice deal this offseason. I think it was a 4-year, $88 million deal. Keith might know the exact numbers. That's another dude should be on the list because New England won 4 games last year. There's a lot of other big names on that Patriots defense. He's a guy that was left off the list. He's a guy I love his game. I think he'll have a big year.
Okay. Yep.
Forsay Olaquan led the NFL in tackles. Not a big name because he doesn't get a lot of sacks. 3-down linebacker. Easily 100 best players in football. I don't know how he's left off the list. CJ Mosley is a guy that could potentially be on the list, but he doesn't get a lot of sacks. Yeah. A lot of tackles last year. The Jets defense was just phenomenal. Frankie Levu, I'm butchering that. Again, played with Carolina, signed a free agent, big free agent deal to go to Washington. Really good player you never heard of because Carolina has a bad team. Really good player. Should be like somewhere between 180. DeMario Davis, one of my all-time favorite players. I really was surprised did not make the list, but doesn't get a lot of sacks. Saints aren't a big market. Didn't go to playoffs, so I get it. JOK, I think Funk came up with JOK, but Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he's called a linebacker, but he plays a pseudo linebacker safety position. He was a big reason why Cleveland gave up the fewest passing yards in the NFL last year. I was floored when I saw he was on. There is a small possibility he's going to be on like somewhere between 50 and 41. He's that good. He really is. I think JOK probably one of the top 100 players or top 50 players. I'm sorry, but no way he should be left off this list. It's a homer pick, but Joe Thuney, I talked about him earlier. 100% should be on this list. Maybe the best guard in.
Easily the best guard in the football.
I mean, really, really good player. How he's not on the list, I don't know. But I think interior offensive linemen are being ignored. Yeah, you're the one. I think you're the one who came up with JOK, Funk. But yeah, I remember for a fact he was one of your draft crushes. I have no idea why he's not on the list already. He had such a good year. He may be one of the top 50 to 30 players, but I think that if he did make the list, he would have already been on. Reason why, not a lot of interceptions, not a lot of sacks, and that's why he didn't make the list. But these are all players that I think should be on the top 100. Landon Dickerson's a name I forgot about. I'm sorry, Slasher. I 100% agree he should be on the list. I don't have him as one of my missing players here. Keaton, which one of these players am I getting wrong here? Which one of these guys shouldn't be on the top 100 list? And is there a player that I'm leaving off that is a player that should be on the list?
So which one of these players should be on the list?
Well, I think all these players should be on the list, but let me ask you, which one of these players am I wrong about?
I mean, I like your point about Derek Brown. I mean, like I said, he's one of the best defensive one, or he's one of the best in the league at what he does. And I think Breece Hall. I mean, there is a conversation about whether it's Breece Hall or what's the running back's name for the Dolphins? It starts with A. Ainge. Can't remember.
Oh, A-Chain. Yeah.
I'm like, it's definitely Breece Hall. Definitely, in my opinion, I think he's better than A-Chain. I believe I'm saying his name right. Hopefully, but
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people. Man, I think a lot of these players on here should be on. I think Kyle Duggar. Despite us winning only 4 games last year, he was a huge part of our defense last year at his respective position. Tooney obviously is the best guard in the league, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of these guys on here that should be on that list. That I would definitely. I mean, Mike Evans. I'm just kind of a little surprised that he isn't on the list.
Mike Evans and Nico Collins may be on 50 to 41, but
yeah,
there is a possibility. But we talked about Stephon Diggs. I mean, Evans is easily a better player than Diggs. I mean, that's not even a debate, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think the same thing with Nico Collins, but both Nico Collins and Mike Evans may be on in the top 50, but I really kind of expected them to be in the back half. That's why I'm surprised. Kyle Hamilton's not missing, Perry. They haven't done the top 50 yet. Kyle Hamilton's going to be in the top 50. He was first team All-Pro this year. He will be on the list. This is 100 through 51. These are players that are not going to be on the top 50, but they should be on the back 50. I miss Landon Dickerson. I'm trying to think if there's another player. I'm actually thinking right now. I drew a blank, but Christian Barmore is a guy next year will probably make the top 100. Really, really good player. I could argue should be on this year. Yeah, Hamilton will be on the top 50. Hamilton may be top 20, to be honest with you. But these are all guys that that are not going to be on the list. The exceptions are Mike Evans and Nico Collins. These two may make the top. Travis Etienne could, but I don't think so. Kyron Williams made the list. I think, what was it, 78? And he plays in LA. It's a bigger market. And they went to the playoffs where Jacksonville didn't. So Etienne's probably going to be left off the list. Is he a top 100 player? 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Perry says, I think Aiden O'Connell could develop into a solid starter at right offensive. I'm sorry, right offensive coordinator or a head coach. It could be like Ryan Fitzpatrick or in Minshew type. Yeah.
Minshew. Okay.
He could, but here's the thing: you got Luke Getsy, who was the offensive coordinator for the Bears. He was fired, and you bring him in to the Raiders. Well, Justin Fields and Aiden O'Connell, you couldn't get two more different type of players, and you also got a guy who was fired, and he's supposed to resurrect your offense, which struggled last year. I don't see it. So the problem is you don't have the right head coach or offensive coordinator to develop a guy like this. And I felt they didn't hire the right guy to be the offensive coordinator. They also were public. They were very adamant that they wanted to trade up to, they wanted Jaden Daniels. And that's not a debate. I mean, the Raiders were adamant. They were public. Hey, we want to trade up. And they weren't able to. They didn't draft a quarterback because all of them were taken. I think that if Penix doesn't get drafted by the Falcons, he would have been the pick at 13 for the Raiders.
Yeah, it's kind of the same situation. Like, I think it was 2022. I think this is Mac Jones. Like, he had a stellar rookie season. Like, he was one of the best. And then the second year, Bill Belichick decides to bring in Matt Patricia, defensive-minded coach, to run the offense, and look at how that played out. And it just went downhill from there for Mac Jones.
No, I mean, I think part of it was Mac Jones, but part of it was Patricia. And the one thing about the quarterback position, you need to, everything externally has to work. And I don't think the Raiders have the right coaching staff scheme for a guy like Aiden O'Connell to be successful. This isn't like I said, the guy who I found, he's a Raiders YouTuber. It's pretty good content. But when we start comparing Aiden O'Connell to Tom Brady, I'm like, no, stop it. Weed's legal here. Don't do it and make videos. Like, don't do it and make videos. Come on, man. That's why he's not on the show, and I got Keaton on here. I mean, I'm a little questionable when Keaton says that the Ohio State Buckeyes would win 15 games in the NFL. I'm a little weird about that. He says Ohio State would go undefeated in the SEC. I'm like, I don't know, but that's why Keaton's on here, and that guy who's compared Aiden O'Connell to Tom Brady is not. So, Raven76B more Hamilton is that dude. Dude, I'm going to tell you something, dude. When they were playing the Ravens, I swear there was 3 Kyle Hamiltons out there. That motherfucker was everywhere. He's in the secondary. He's blitzing the quarterback. That dude was just unbelievable. He 100% will be on this list. He's not left off. He's just not in the back 50, and he should be much higher. These players here are the ones I can think off just right before I came on the air. Like, these players 100% should have been on the list and are not. Because I put on here, I didn't count, but I got these 3, these two, so that's 7, 11, 14. So I got 14 players who I don't think should be on the list. Maybe Bobby Wagner should be later. And then I got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I got 12 players. The players in red are players that I don't think should be on the list. Or should be ranked. Tunzel maybe should be on the list, just lower. Same with Fitzpatrick if he's healthy, but going into the year, I would have him off the list. These two, Cup, I get it. I get why he's on the list. He shouldn't be 69. And then Bobby Wagner, who I love maybe, but these guys are all left off, and the players in red are on. And this was just done right before I came on. I was just like, let me think of some players, and these sort of Landon Dickerson, who Slasher said earlier. Keaton, am I missing a guy that Christian Barmore's a guy that's a possibility that may be on this list, but am I missing somebody who definitely should be on the list that are missing in action?
Yeah, I mean, I think Baltimore should definitely get consideration. I mean, just look what he did. Look at what he did last year, making an impact to that Patriots defense.
God, I loved Christian Barmore. Like that. By the way, Christian Barmore will make the list next year if the Patriots are if the Patriots are around a 500 team. Barmore is going to be on the list. That's kind of a no brainer.
The goal. That's the goal. Yep.
At Dan, do you think Rice will break out this season with Worthy and Brown helping to keep a double team on him?
I think Brown Rice will break out.
He had almost 1,000 this year. I think he was like 940 something. I think he'll have 1,000, but I don't think he's going to put up those crazy numbers. I don't think he's going to be like a 1,500. I'll be honest with you. He'll have more receptions than Hollywood Brown, but I think Brown might possibly have more yards. Yeah, I could see him doing like 70 to 80 catches, about 1,000 yards, where Hollywood Brown may have 60 to 70 catches, but 1,200 yards. Do I think he'll break out? I mean, he had a really good season last year. He had a really good season last year, but I'm not going to say break out because I think he'll get a little better. But I think Hollywood Brown's going to have a major impact, and I think Worthy will take away some of it. So the answer will be not really, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has like 80 catches, 1,000, 1,100 yards, 9-10 touchdowns. That's a good year. And everybody wants Chiefs to three-peat, so everybody wants that. That's Boy Mafe. I'm probably butchering the name. And I love that dude. I thought about putting him on because he had 9.5 sacks last year. I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen with the new head coach. But definitely could be. It's Boy Mafe out of University of Minnesota. One of my favorite players. Love the dude. Love his game. I think Funk was a big fan of him too. I can't remember if it was Funk or One Pride. I want to say Funk really loved him too. A guy that I would put him outside of the top 100, but Boy Mafe is one of my favorite players coming out of the draft. Seattle got a deal. They got him in the second round, and he's raw as hell, but he's just getting better. McDonald may have some fun with that dude. And it wouldn't surprise me if he has like 12 sacks and easily makes the list next year. I wouldn't have him on this year though, but yeah, players don't want to play for that dude. But I think Mac Jones also was part of the problem because he didn't just when you brought in Bill O'Brien, he just didn't morph into a great player. But yeah,
he was broken. I knew that. He was as a player.
Yeah, Boy Mafe is really good. Raw dude. He'll be on the top 100 list if McDonald can tap into him. But he's a really, really, really good player. And yeah, I think Funk was the one who really liked him. Funk was really wanting to for the Lions to get him. So yeah. Hamilton was one of your draft crushes. I kept on telling people he's not as good as Derwin James, and I was right. He's much better. So
right.
Aiden Hutchinson is an up and coming player. Oh, wait a minute, you're not talking Aiden Hutchinson. AH. You're not talking. Well, Aiden Hutchinson's 100% going to be on the list. If you're talking about Aiden Hutchinson, he's going to be on the list. He's going to be top 50. He's going to be top 50. If Aiden Hutchinson didn't make the list, that's a major oversight. But he's a popular player. Detroit made the NFC conference championship game. Aiden Hutchinson will be on the list. If he's not, I would be shocked. But I don't have him on my missing players list because I'm expecting him in the top 50. I'm expecting him, Amon-Ra, he'll be on there, and Tunsil will be on the top 50. If Aiden Hutchinson and Penei Sewell are not on this list, then I don't know what to tell you. I would be floored. I would be absolutely floored. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that boy Mafe, he was a dude who I'm a big fan. So but at Funk, do you think Pascal will be a bust? He was a guy I hated where you drafted him, but I loved him as a player. And him, by the way, you guys have to answer this for me, but Pascal and Ozarike are those two guys that are even going to make the team. You guys have to answer that for me. I actually don't know. Oh yeah, I mean Aiden Hutchinson. That was one thing I really didn't like what the Lions did is they didn't get him any help in the draft or the off season. I really hated that. So
Yeah.
all right, listen, we've been on the air for almost 2.5 hours. Keaton has 5 dates lined up for tonight, so we're not going to tell, but I don't. So here's the thing: I'm on the West Coast, so it's only 7 here. It's 10, and Keaton's got 5 girls he's keeping waiting. So we're going to wrap up. But before we get out of here, man, Keaton, I want to thank you first of all for coming on the show, and before we end everything here, besides letting us know Ohio State will go undefeated and guaranteeing us winning the national championship. Keaton's adamant about that. That Ohio State team's loaded. That team is so loaded.
They have to get it done this year. They just have to. I mean, they bring everybody back. Michigan, obviously, a lot of people into the portal there. No hardballs, and like Ryan Day doesn't get it done this year, and then there's gonna be a lot of talk after that.
There's this asshole that sent you something on Instagram that said it's been 1,700 days since Ohio State has beaten Michigan in football. Some asshole sent you that on Instagram, so that was. You're a Michigan fan. I'm talking a little trash here because I'm a dick. So, but yeah, somebody posted that, and I'm like, I gotta share this with Keaton. It's been 1,700 days since Ohio State's beaten Michigan in football. So, by the way, follow me on social media and follow Keaton Talk Sports on social media. Levi seems to be turning into corner pass. That's, by the way, Ozarike is a guy that I loved coming out of Washington. I was kind of hoping he would be here in Kansas City because I thought him and Chris Jones in the interior would just be awesome. And he fits into what Steve Spagnuolo wants to do. So I was always hoping that he might end up in Kansas City. If he's healthy, I think it would be a lot of fun. And if he is turning the corner, that should be scary to defenses in the NFC North because he's a guy I was really, really high on. It just he's a guy that seems better suited for an even front instead of an odd front or your stereotypical 4-3 defense. So I'm kind of like, where does he fit with what the Lions are trying to do? But but if he is turned in the corner, that should be scary because if you guys get an interior rusher and you already got Hutchinson on the outside, that's scary for a lot of teams, man. Raven76 Be More, man. Thank you so much for joining, man. I hope that you're able to join me when I go live September 5th for Chiefs Ravens. I haven't signed up for the Sunday ticket because so in August I have to do the NFL Sunday ticket. I'm buying a TV. I'm buying a TV stand. I'll probably buy Netflix here soon, but I can wait to buy Netflix because Chiefs Steelers don't play till Christmas, but I'll probably get it early. So. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of money I got to be spending. I mean, I'm here in Vegas, and the only thing I've done for fun is go to the gym. So now I got to spend a bunch of money on this upcoming season. The Sunday ticket's still expensive. I'm not doing the 75-inch TV. I think I'm doing a 55. I seen one at Walmart for just under $400. It'll be okay. Here's the deal though. I got to do it all. Like in August, I have to get the TV, the Sunday ticket, and NFL Plus. I forgot NFL Plus. I'm just going to do the yearly, and then I'm also got to do Netflix for when Chiefs play Steelers. I might wait to do Netflix, but I'll probably do it now.
What channel is that game on? Is it the one on Christmas?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I have to buy Netflix at least for 1 month. So that's a good reason. Don't sign up for Netflix. Just tune in YouTube, and you'll get play-by-play from me, and you can save whatever it is. I can't do the commercial version, so I have to do the I have to pay an extra whatever it is, so I get the no commercials on Max, and I'm going to do the no commercials on Netflix, but I'm signing up for NFL Plus. I just haven't done it yet. So,
yeah, for sure.
All right. Oh, this is some good questions for Keaton here. So, Keaton, I got to keep you on here. Keep your 5 girls on wait. 2 questions. Have you played college football 25 yet? And do you think Michigan will regress now that Harbaugh's gone?
I do have college football 25. In my opinion, I think it's better than Madden. I think it's more realistic, in my opinion. That's just.
Is it on? Do you have it on the Xbox or do you have it on the PlayStation?
I had a PS5. All right. And then, do I think Michigan, or do you think Michigan will regress now that Harbaugh's gone? I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I think Sherrone Moore. I mean, I think he did a solid job taking over for him in that 4-game suspension or whatever. I think it was 3 or 4 games when he was suspended last year or whatever. Can't remember what the exact number was, but I think he did a good job. I think he's the right coach for them. But I mean, like I said, Ohio State has no excuses this year not to beat Michigan. And
I mean,
but you never know what can happen. Never know.
So okay. So you have Ohio State, which I'm not going to bust your balls here. I'm just going to be honest. Ohio State will beat Michigan this year. Okay, I'll probably bet on it if the line's close, but. I'm not going to pull it up, but I'm just going off memory. Week 2, Michigan plays Texas. Texas is a 3.5-point favorite. Texas is probably going to win that game.
Michigan has a tough state. Have you seen their schedule?
Dude, they play Texas week 2. They play Oregon. They play USC. There's another team that I seriously think Michigan.
Washington.
They play Washington. I think Michigan's going to lose 4 games this year. I really do. I think they're going to be 8-4, 9-4, and it wouldn't even surprise me if they fire their coach because I think they're going to lose 4 games. I'm telling you right now, they're going to lose Ohio State. Texas is loaded. Texas is loaded.
They're crazy.
They got a guy named Arch Manning, Peyton Manning's nephew, sitting on the fucking bench. That's how loaded Texas is. They got a kid named Manning who's on the bench. That's how loaded Texas is. Texas is loaded, folks. Texas is absolutely loaded.
Oregon's
it's USC, Washington, Oregon. People have been talking about Wisconsin. I know Keaton's not scared of Wisconsin. He thinks. Didn't you say Ohio State should beat Wisconsin by 100?
I don't even know if we play. I don't think we played. Actually, we do play.
I don't think we play. No, I think by the way, but seriously, Wisconsin's an up and coming team. They're doing some really good things. Nebraska's recruiting really well. Matt Rule is made for the college game. He bombed in the pros. That's fine. There's lots of guys that go to the NFL, don't do well. Nick Saban. They come back to college and do really well. Matt Rule, I think, is going to be one of those guys. Nebraska's not a threat to win that division. Let's be very clear. They added talent. They're going to be much better.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's doing some stuff. Minnesota's not a terrible team. I mean, Indiana's doing some. I've heard some things about Indiana maybe winning 8 to 10 games this year.
They could. You never know. I mean, Michigan State. I don't know how good they're supposed to be. I'm not sure. They were not that good last year. I know that.
I know one Pride's a big Michigan State guy. He actually went to Michigan State, and he told me he's not even happy. He's like, "No, we got that team this year." I'm like, all right. I mean, they were doing some things for a while that looks good, but yeah. Martin is dude. If you got Broderick Martin, McNeil, was it DJ Reader? I mean, you're adding some good interior. I really wish you would have gotten an exterior guy, but yeah. PS5 boo. I got my Xbox. So here's the deal. I don't have.
I used Xbox.
So I have the old school Xbox One, and I can't play it on the Xbox One. So I either have to get the Xbox Series 10, or I have to get a plate.
Stuff's expensive now. Like,
I don't want, dude. I got a bunch of. I just named off like 9 things I got to buy this month, so I don't want to buy a PlayStation. But I played, dude, the old school. What was it? 2014, 2013. They had I remembered his nickname was Shoelace. Denard Robinson, the Michigan quarterback. Yeah. I played the fuck out of that, man. I love that game so much.
Oh, yeah. Against South Carolina, remember that play? He got knocked back.
Was that him who got knocked back by Clowning? That's right. Yeah, they switched him to running back and like, oh god, dude, that guy was so much fun to watch as a quarterback. But that old school college. So the college football game is awesome.
Yeah, well, I like it. I like it better than Madden.
I've always liked NCAA better than Madden. I've always liked NCAA better. I'm not a Madden fan at all, but I used to buy. I'm old school, so like I used to get signed up at GameStop, and like the day it would release, I would already have my saved copy. That was me. Every year I would always have it. Yeah, day one, NCAA day one, but. Because I don't want to spend the money on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series 1. I probably. By the way, if somebody wants to buy me one, I'm all game. I'm for it. You know, I'm just throwing it out there. You can buy me one. I'll send you my address. You can mail it to me. But
Christmas.
I'll probably have to wait a while. I'll have to wait a while. My coworker who
I play COD.
It took off. Yeah, so my coworker who took off work to go see Deadpool, he plays a Call of Duty. I think he plays on the Xbox as well, but I've never played it. I've never played Call of Duty. I would because I've never played it before. I would die within 10 seconds, so I'm not gonna.
It's a fun game. Hey, you have your days, Sean. It's interesting.
By the way, if you guys all want to play together, you can send me messages. I'll relay them, or let's just try to build a community. Call of Duty is something I'm not going to do. If I do get the Xbox Series 10, which I've been thinking about, then I'll. By the way, if I get a PlayStation 5 or Xbox, the very first game I'm buying is NCAA.
Oh yeah,
that's probably the only game I'll play. To be honest with you, I probably won't even play anything else.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
I seriously, that's probably the only game I'll play, and I'll be a crackhead. I'll like stay up for like 3 days straight playing that fucking game. But the reason, by the way, Perry, the reason why he doesn't go into the portal is because once he becomes the starter, he'll have NFL talent surrounding him. Like he had seriously, Texas is stockpiling talent like crazy.
Why is he on the bench?
What was it? Quinn Ewers, Akers, something like that. He's going first round, and so he came back. He could have possibly been first round pick this year. He's coming back. He's going to be a first round pick. So it's really. Just because he's just sitting behind a quarterback who's going to be probably a top 25 pick next year, barring injury, or he does something stupid outside of football. But
right,
but that's why. And the reason, here's what they told him: they said, "Listen, you stay here. You're going to play in front of." They made some upgrades, so it's like 100,000 in Austin. But they pitched him on Austin, and when he does start. Next year, 2025, Arch Manning probably going to win the Heisman, and he's got seriously the only team that has probably more skill position talent, it would be Ohio State, and Ohio State's loaded at receiver. They have this true freshman, I can't think of his name, that is going to be like a top 5 pick in what, 3 years?
2
years. He's a true freshman this year.
Sooner than that, yeah, probably.
He's ridiculous. I watched a few minutes of him on the spring game, and I'm like, oh God, this guy's going to be like top 10 pick whenever he becomes draft eligible. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a Switch. I think my niece and nephew just do, but I'll right now I'm not going to buy a new console, but I loved NCAA. Yeah, you do get it. By the way, Perry, if you get it, I'll try to. Yeah, I seriously, what I used to do with college football, I swear I played every single team. I loved playing like the small school teams and trying to build them up to a national power. That was my favorite. You know what? I say I played every single team. I didn't play like the big schools. Like I never played Michigan or Ohio State or Florida State or any. I always played like the smaller schools. I always thought it was more fun to take a small school, try to build it into a national power. Like that was fun for me, and I love the recruiting and getting the players. And Black Ops 6 is going to be. I have never played any of those, but Keaton said he would be much better than you. So Keaton says he's going to jump. I don't know. I don't want to play any of those, but if you follow me on social media, there are some people I know that do play those games. So I have played NC State. That's actually the state, like the graphics for the stadium is kind of cool. I always got a kick out of that. I liked playing UNLV. I downloaded what is it where you can anyway, somebody turned me on to where you could download you can get the players on the new anyway, I'm rambling here, but anyway, I like playing like UNLV, all the teams from the Mountain West. I got a kick out playing those teams as well. But
yeah,
Call of Duty, I don't play any of those. But if you follow me on social media, I know a lot of people that do, including Keaton, who says he'll kill every single one of you. So, Keaton's the best at it. That's what he says.
And NCA for sure. But...
oh damn! Keaton says he will kill everybody on NCAA.
The only thing I don't like about the NCAA is like a lot of people I guess been complaining about the defense. Like it's hard to like defend on. Like you're on defense, it's hard to stop people. Apparently.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so it's pretty good. It's a good game.
Yeah, I've never played any of the Black Ops. I can't wait to play NCAA, but it's probably. Like I said, I'm not looking forward to buying one of those. I probably won't, but if I get one, then I'll go ahead and get one. So
right.
But yeah, so we talked about video games for like the last 20 minutes here. Before we sign off here, Keaton, any final words, thoughts, anything that you want to say, promote? Do follow Keaton on Instagram and on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to him already, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, so thank you. Like I said, thank you for having me on. As always, definitely fun coming on here. Like I said, subscribe to Keaton Talk Sports, Instagram, YouTube channel. I'm gonna have division video put out here. I'm currently working on it right now. So it's a process, but it's getting there. It's almost done. So I'll be having videos out here soon once August comes. So I'm excited to pump out more content as I'm doing right now on my Instagram page. So follow those, and like I said, thank you for having me on as always.
Oh man, it's a pleasure having you on. I've been behind on my divisional breakdown videos, but they are coming out soon. Ideally next week, but I've been behind on doing up. I should have had a few already out, so I apologize. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you all back next Friday.
Peace.